We in here. WrestleMania 21. Let's get into it. We're going to start the show in about 2 minutes. So 8:32, 8:33, we're going to push and play. So, um, programming note: tomorrow we're going to do a couple of videos. We're going to end up doing the WrestleMania prediction show, which is going to be, of course, night one and night two. And also, I'm going to do probably a little bit of a look at the top 50 WrestleMania matches that WWE listed. I haven't been paying that close attention to the list, but I do want to take a look at it. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. It depends. Um, Another little programming note. Yes, I did see Dark Side of the Ring with Tony Atlas. I have not recorded the audio for it yet. It probably won't be up until after WrestleMania, if we're being honest. There's so much that's happening right now, and that Dark Side of the Ring episode kind of slid under the radar. It wasn't all that um, dark, or so it can wait. So I'll basically put it on probably for Monday or Tuesday next week, and I'll probably be behind on it. But Dark Side of the Ring on Tony Atlas will probably be up late this time. But and plus, since I never read Tony Atlas's book, I've been really scratching and clawing at the internet trying to find information about this guy. But as I said, WrestleMania 21, we will start that in about a minute and a half. Thanks to Top Dog and Degenerate Sharingan for showing up. I'm glad you guys are here, and hopefully you guys can boot up WrestleMania on Peacock. I don't know if it's on YouTube but keep me on YouTube. Go boot up WrestleMania on Peacock. We got another minute, and then we're going to start the show. Once again, the big WrestleMania preview tomorrow is going to feature my thoughts on the Street Profits being on Cameron and May's show, the Triple H's critique on critics, all that sort of stuff. All that's going to be in that review. Hopefully, you guys will actually sit back and watch it, and that ought to be fun. Okay, so we got about 30 seconds to get people in. Get ready to boot up WrestleMania. And of course, everybody's going to really enjoy this year's WrestleMania. At least I hope so. 20 seconds, and then we're going to start the show. Um, I'm glad. See, WrestleMania 21 is the show that kind of brought me back. 10 seconds. So now we're going to have a chance to relive everything that I ended up having to learn all over again. And let's start the show now. 3 minutes after the hour. Well, I'm already 30 minutes late, so what can we all do? But oh shit, my Peacock had to reboot, so I guess we'll have to start in another minute or so. WG Phil says it took Vince at least 25 years to spur out at Bob Costas. Triple H is doing it in 3 years. Yeah, Vince just doesn't have internet. He's an old man. That was one of the advantages he had, right? He was an old man. He didn't give a shit. Triple H is an old man, but he is chronically online, which is leading to him having all of this head trauma that he's going through, being upset at the dirt sheets. All right. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. WrestleMania 21. Let's get started.
Of Miracle the Beautiful, WWE's own Lillian Garcia.
Lillian Garcia singing America the Beautiful. My favorite version of Stone Cold is the original. I want this link to be removed from my screen. I don't know how to do it. WrestleMania 21 created a generation of new fans. And you want to know why? Because it created new stars in one night. Edge, John Cena, and Batista all got their push on this one show. When Vince decided he was going with new guys, he went with them. All of those guys got pushed on one show. amazing, right? It's a truly a turning point show. Brotherhood, some sea to shining sea. Lillian Garcia singing on. Well, now they hip hop in it. What are they doing? How poetic is it going to be Sunday when John Cena wins number 17 at the 20th anniversary of his number one? How poetic is it going to be? Top Dog says 96, 97 Stone Cold was the best. Yeah. Heel Stone Cold was better than Babyface Stone Cold as far as I'm concerned. I had more fun with Stone Cold when he was a bad guy against the Hart Foundation. I tend to mostly enjoy people when they're in the mid card more than they're in the main event. But I don't know why. Undertaker slapping hands. Oh, that's weird. Look at how United America was. Yeah. Nobody was booing the president. Well, the people were angry at the president. I think they're always angry at the president, but people seem to be getting along quite well back in the good old halcyon days of 2005. USA chants, American flags. Oh my goodness. AJ3, what's up? WG Field, what's up? Top Dog. WrestleMania goes Hollywood, baby. The raising of the curtain. Vince went hard on the themes, didn't he?
Hello, my name is Eugene. Check out the big brain. Now I've heard the stories. I just one more question. Do I feel lucky? I'm 7 years old. I big superstars by the hundreds. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Uh-oh.
I love these parodies. I didn't get to see any of this stuff until afterwards, though.
What you just said?
I wasn't watching wrestling when this show happened. I started watching it like I think the night after WrestleMania 21. Because I remember seeing the highlights on Raw.
That's not.
That's the most memorable thing Christy Hemmings ever done at WrestleMania is this parody.
All this excitement.
I can't believe they had Undertaker doing these vignettes, which seems oddly out of character for him. Everybody else, yeah, it makes sense. But Undertaker, I don't know, man. Even though it was Dirty Harry and everything, which I know is right up his alley.
Talking to me?
Gladiator was a huge movie at around this time. I forgot what year Gladiator came out. I think it's like 2004, 2003 or something like that.
I don't think there's ever been a Gladiator. It's much.
It was a big trend in those days to have gladiator movies and movies based on ancient Greece and ancient Rome. I think Troy and Alexander and all those movies came out at around the same time, within years of each other. And then there was a time when they were having those movies essentially yearly, throwback movies to ancient Greece and ancient Rome, like Clash of the Titans and stuff like that. Then out of nowhere they just stopped. I think Spartacus was like the pinnacle of those things, and then there were no more. Movies about ancient Greece and Rome and stuff like that went away.
Chief asked for sorry sons of bitches. among beer drinkers. Trustner
Of no
of
one.
no one. I will stomp a butthole in your ass and walk it dry.
I don't know if this vignette played or they just saved this for WrestleMania, but it was one of the best ones.
My name is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And tonight, I unleash hell.
Yeah, the Austin Gladiator joint was fun. It was very fun. I like the Eddie Guerrero and Booker T Pulp Fiction segment too. That one was very good. I was a big fan of that one. Hall of Fame. Oh yeah, he is getting put in the Hall of Fame again, huh? His immortal moment. He probably won't have much to say except he's probably glad people liked it. God dang, I was running hard. I don't remember much about it. Everything was better back then. Look at all these fans with their signs. Jim Ross on commentary. WrestleMania is only one night. Jerry King Lawler. Jesus, I feel like I haven't seen his face in forever. I can't remember the last time I saw Jerry Lawler. Even when I watch old wrestling, I don't remember seeing Jerry Lawler. But I spent the last couple of days watching WrestleMania 40, 38, 39. Did I watch 37? I don't remember if I watched 37 or not. But I definitely watched 38 and 39. And I'm pretty sure this is about to be better than both of those. Viva la Raza. Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. Match number 1. Tag team champions wrestling each other. Pretty nonsensical. But hey, look at what it led to. It was kind of nuts that they had the tag team titles and they were wrestling each other. That's pretty much pretty crazy. Would I say WrestleMania 28 was the last good WrestleMania? No, because I didn't hate 38 and 39. They weren't that strong. Like there were some weak parts to them, but that's been the case for the later years. Everything after maybe 26 has had some fat, and the more that they've had these shows, the more fat has been on them. So now that WrestleMania is 2 nights, you get nonsense on the card that had no business being there. But I wouldn't say 28 was the last one. Who's that jumping out the sky? 1 night and 12 matches. I missed that, and Vince running it. The only thing I don't miss is some of the crazy mid-show chicanery, like some of the skits and comedy stuff and all that. Like I know the Muhammad Hassan thing is about to come up in the middle of this show. Like that's the kind of stuff I don't really miss. But most everything else, yes, because Vince was a creative booker, that's for sure. He wasn't always the best, but he was pretty creative, and it made for a fun product. We got the epic SummerSlam match. Yeah, the ladder match, absolutely, and the Great American Bash match is pretty good too. X9 paid for this pay-per-view. Oh, I didn't actually see the whole show until I bought it on DVD, which was when it came out on DVD. But I remember watching. I started watching wrestling again, the Raw after this WrestleMania, because it looked like the Triple H era was finally over, and I was right. It was over. It wasn't over like forever, but it was over for at least for that time, and that's really all it needed to be for me to move on. It's sad that this was Eddie Guerrero's last WrestleMania match. You know, it's sad, but also not sad because this was a very good one. He got to wrestle his best friend in his last WrestleMania match. Well, one of his best friends. Look at that counter to the fireman's carry. Two elite performers in their prime. Rey Mysterio's on his like second pair of knees right here. Those are certainly not his original knees. And Eddie Guerrero looks like he ate Eddie Guerrero 1997. He bulked up. He was absolutely taking his Mario mushrooms. Chain Gang Cena was best Cena. Ha! They're doing a test of strength. When the last time you saw somebody do a test of strength on a wrestling show? Oh, look at that. I miss these technical entrances, like they are technical matches. Whoa! All that over. What? A slingshot? That's crazy. You said Mania is tomorrow. No, it's not. Mania is Saturday. Saturday. Well, WrestleMania Smackdown is tomorrow, if that's what you mean. Andre, the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and such. I like how both of them are baby faces, so they're wrestling clean. This means that they can do, these, these techniques and nobody is cheating. And this is like a very classic match that they're having here. But it's babyface versus babyface. Eddie hadn't turned yet, so everything is hunky dory. He thinks he's just a better wrestler than Rey Mysterio at this point. He thinks he can beat him. So he's showing that he's pretty damn good. He's gotten the positive stretch of every one of these exchanges. He's been on at the top. Ray's been underneath. And they're doing it without Eddie cheating. This was just the beginning of their story, too. So if you were like, what's the story, Mongo? This is the beginning of their story. They had the inciting incident already where Ray and Eddie had the argument about who was better. You're the only one that hates that Mania is S. I guess Saturday? I don't know. What does S mean, sir? Am I the only one that hates WrestleMania this far into April? Oh, yeah. No, you're not. I don't think that there needs to be a WrestleMania near the end of the month ever again. Triple H doesn't need this much time. To book what? To book the shit that he's been booking? You don't need this much time. It needs to be on the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, the 4th, hopefully. Kick out at 1. Oh, my God. Everybody should have shit themselves. He kicked out at 1. X9 says he loves how Chavo pushed Eddie. Jimmy Corderas is the referee here. He's not a guy that just yells at fans on Twitter. even though he just kind of tries to have sensible conversations with people who are nuts. Mania 41 is a one-match show. Yeah, each card is a one-match show, essentially. Triple H is such a terrible booker. He only booked. Well, I guess if you got a one-match show and that one match sells, you don't need to put that much effort into it, I guess. In every spot of this match so far, Ray has been on the defensive, which is, of course, playing, of course, into the story that, and Ray cannot out wrestle Eddie in this scenario. But they're getting time to tell the story. They're not rushing it. There's plenty stuff more to go on this show, and they're still allowed to go out there and have a technical match. X-Man says, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, pushed him to be better wrestler than Eddie turned on a random SmackDown. Yeah. I like that. That heel turn did a really good job in terms of getting me back into wrestling, because I wasn't a huge fan of Eddie Guerrero, but I really felt that heel turn. That heel turn was really good. That's when I became a super fan of Eddie, really. You said you would rather have Triple H get another title run if it meant he's not booking. I think that he knows the sweet, sweet power of being in control now. Being a champion won't be enough. For him being champion in 2016, almost made my head explode. I definitely think that Roman Reigns versus Triple H didn't need the title. And I haven't seen that match since it happened, actually. And I have no interest in watching it, to be quite honest. Usually I'm curious about things that I don't remember. But I don't remember seeing Roman Reigns versus Triple H, and I honestly don't remember watching that. I don't remember Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose either. But I usually, sometimes I go back and watch things that people say were, whoa, great spot there from Ray. Usually I go back and watch things that people believe are underrated or overrated, just to see if they stand up or if my feelings on them have changed. And that was my impetus to watch WrestleMania 38, because I didn't remember much of it. And people kept saying that AJ Styles and Edge was a match that didn't deliver. And I considered, like, both of these guys were over the age of 40 when that match happened. For two 40-year-olds, the match actually wasn't that bad. It was a little slow, but it actually wasn't that bad for two guys who were over the age of 40. You know, when you look at it in context, this is not Edge of 2005 versus AJ Styles of 2005. Chris Benoit booking greater than Big Nose booking. I don't know, man. Benoit books some really dark shit. I mean, he's really involved with some dark arts. I don't think I want Chris Benoit booking my show. And the Big Show was in a Samoan. You mean a sumo match? Oh, I forgot about that. The Big Show being treated like an attraction, getting stuck in there with celebrities. Oh my good God. The crazy thing is, Akibono was actually a wrestler too. He wrestled in Japan, but they didn't want him for that. They wanted him to do sumo shit. But that was classic Vince. Let's just do some insane shit. The last insane thing he did, though, was the Jackass Sami Zayn thing. That's what makes 38 so much fun. Look at that counter. I forgot. I think didn't Rey Mysterio talk about the 619 where he got it from? I think he's on Chris Van Vliet, where he talked about learning it from Super Astro and then seeing other people do it, and he realized he could do it too. And he got it from Damien Say that he should use it as a weapon instead of just as a fake flip, which is what how other people was doing it. Oh my God. Pardon the fire trucks. What would Triple H do if he gets divorced from Stephanie? Has that ever been a discussion? Probably continue to run the company because Stephanie is outside of it. You know, it's not like he's married into the game anymore. He's been liberated from that, brother. How to ban you? Prince Ali says, well, he didn't say he voted Trump. He said he supported him. We talking about Roman Reigns? Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna get into the whole Roman Reigns Trump thing. I'm trying to keep it light. Instead, I may do a video about how sexy Roman was in Vanity Fair. It reminded me of in my head as I was reading that thing and seeing all these crazy, sexy Roman Reigns photos. I was like, this reminds me of when Brett said to Sean, it was a gay magazine. I almost didn't finish reading it when I saw his whole thighs and shit was out. I was like, what the hell? But I wanted to see where the context of him being a Trump supporter came from. Look at Ray. It's amazing. Rey Mysterio is on this show, and he's going to be at the Saturday show. He's going to be 50. He's 50 years old, bro. Rey Mysterio. Him and John Cena are both going to be at WrestleMania 41 in matches. In matches with build, by the way. Oh. And not as jabronis, but in featured matches. Like, it's not like a jabroni battle royal or anything like that. That was a hell of a power bomb there, man. That power bomb was nasty. The crowd is solidly behind Eddie now. He hasn't done anything wrong yet. He's getting frustrated. Backbreaker. Nope. Counter. 1, 2, and 3. And there it is. The disbelief. The pain set in. Hell of a match between these guys. Babyface match. Eddie got frustrated late, made a mistake. Ray took advantage. Now he's mad now. Oh boy. He's pouty. Look at him. Oh, look at Eddie. He's all pouty because he lost. Oh man. Respectful though, shook his hand. But that wasn't a real handshake. He's disappointed. He's disappointed. He says Eddie was always killing Ray with those backbreakers. And the power bombs. Those shits were stiff, bro. The backbreakers and the power bombs are always super stiff when they work together. Oh, JBL and Orlando Jordan. Orlando Jordan was on NWA recently, still being a weirdo. Oh, pause. Oh, right. Sexy Roman, big pause.
Last time I checked, wrestling gods don't lose, and I am the only champion in the history of this sport who have never lost. Better worry about David's and stuff and losing the 10th time tonight.
Whoa.
Because John Cena will be taken care of. I guarantee it. You know something, Brad Shaw? You keep telling yourself.
I love that Triple H called him Foghorn Leghorn on a random episode of Raw, and I remembered that shit. Cause that's all I see now. Yes.
Like this. We just have to wait till the end of the night and see who's still champion.
The best thing about this is neither one of these bums was the champion. Woo. It's Orlando Jordan pretending that he's a heterosexual. You said you wonder why they never collide. I don't think they got along. Both of them were jabronis that ended up becoming world champions. But Bradshaw was a super jabroni, though. Super mid-card guy. Mid-card as fuck. Is the Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank 1. The best one. Well, the second best one. I like Money in the Bank 2 also. I don't think they ever got along, Triple H and Baby. Thoughts on Kylie Armstrong from Evolve? She needs to get her vocals together, but physically she's very good. She comes across almost like Bianca Belair meets Jada Parker. Yeah, they did a great job. Both of them are smug as fuck. And they're both kind of overlooking their opponents, too, in that segment. It showed the similarities between the two guys, with the exception that Triple H is kind of looking down on Bradshaw. Hell of a story that they had going here. Triple H cannot be trusted with that god awful mustache. He had the that was the that was the Harley Race joint. That's when he thought he was Harley Race. Benoit, Jericho, Shelton, Edge. Holy shit. Yeah. And then Kane was washed at this point, but well, he wasn't like fully physically washed, but his character wasn't shit. And then you also had this beast in there too. Young Christian. You said Money in the Bank had a great trilogy. Yeah, the first 3 Money in the Banks were top tier for sure. Once it became its own pay-per-view, I'm not sure it ever really lived up to the first 3, but the first 3 Money in the Banks are absolutely amazing. Just think of how much better the triple threat match at WrestleMania would be. You know, Punk, Roman, and Rollins if something was on the line. Who can ride with me? I love me some Shelton Benjamin. I would have preferred Shelton to wrestle somebody in this match, but hey, he was in this joint and he was great. He said, did anyone get along with Triple H? Shawn. Shawn and Batista. And I think Randy did. The hot take Lemmy chops Triple H's peak. Huh. I was avoiding TV as long as Triple H was holding the belt, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you up. I think he had gone back to the whole goatee joint after that. Christian tan attire with Pete. Triple H looked down on pretty much half of the roster when he was in position during the road to WrestleMania 21. Yeah, and then they put Batista over strong as shit. When I was I think I remember seeing that he had like they were doing beat the clock sprints and stuff like that where he was crushing dudes in like 2 minutes and shit. I missed the beat the clock sprint. That was an amazing concept. Yeah, Triple H was cosplaying Ric Flair, but never had the balls to do the green yellow outfit. He never had the nuts to do shin guards with no knee pads. Young Christian, young Edge, young Shelton, Chris Benoit, who was alive, and his family, who was alive, which is great. That's the best thing about this. Does it feel like WrestleMania yet? No, it doesn't really. It will when the show starts. But that's hopefully they start the show hot and they don't start the show like they start Raw and SmackDown with just you see people rolling their suitcases into the ring, into the arena, and Joe Tessitore talks about how big tonight is and how big of a night it's going to be. That's the thing. WrestleMania should be different. You know, that ESPN backstage. We're gonna watch. We're gonna watch everybody walk to the building. That sucks. That sucks for pro wrestling, bro. I hate it. I hate it so much. You said 2000 Triple H is peak Triple H. I could see that. Triple H has always been very mid for me. Speaking of the gold team, did you see the latest photos of Sting with the beard on his crow makeup? I did see that. I heard he's retiring the makeup soon too. I don't understand why he's making people pay more for the makeup and then he's gonna wear that. Whoa! What a hell of a jump! He's gonna make people pay. Whoa, that was tremendous. He makes people pay extra for pictures with the makeup, and then he's gonna retire the makeup. That's crazy. But then he's gonna wear the beard with the makeup. You got to remember, Sting almost 70. He probably shouldn't be doing Comic Cons at all. Kane just did a jump, y'all. A flying brick wall. Triple H is gonna have some work to do this year. He's already fumbled the Royal Rumble. Triple H has been in control of Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, and he's fumbled pretty much all of them. I hate to say that, but it's been true. Everybody gave him a pass when Nia Jax won Queen of the Ring, and everybody when they should have been like, "What the?" They were like, "No, let him cook, man, let him cook." I was like, "Bro, I'm sorry. He won King of the Ring. You like the Edge Silver attire too?" This is also back when not everybody had a super big WrestleMania entrance. Not everybody wants to have a huge WrestleMania entrance with live bands and pyro and everything. I don't think undercard guys should get it. You said Nia Jax had a renaissance year. You give her some credit? Okay. Fair enough. I still don't like the idea that they gave it to her. I think they should have gave it to somebody else. But you had other women that you could have pushed for the same reason Nia Jax was there. But she was better, when she came back. People using submission holds in ladder matches. Bad psychology, but it still gets a pop. Hey, you just want to watch yourself get stabbed in the face with a ladder? Sure. You're going to defend yourself? A little too late, but yes. Now look at that. He's going after this arm. This is good psychology here. Because this plays into the rest of the card. It plays into the rest of the show. Kane had no business being in this match. Now they went into this thing because they wanted a base, so they needed somebody big. That's the only reason Kane was in it. And they always had to have a base in these ladder matches. Somebody for people to jump on and, hey, you go in there and catch everybody. You're not going to win. The base never wins the match. Except for when Damian Priest won, which made no sense. And when Kane won, what was that later, though? That was like years later. But look at Shelton. Ooh-wee. Oh, boy, tremendous. 21 and 22, man. Shelton Benjamin's stocks were through the roof. He was having great matches, showing off his athleticism. He was in the mix. Yeah. Let me 10-minute entrance, Jey Uso. Get ready to go to the bathroom, get some nachos. I think I'm gonna have pizza for WrestleMania though. Did you know that Edge didn't want to be in Mania or be in this match for some odd reason? I think he just didn't want to be typecast as a ladder guy. And I'm pretty sure he told the exact reason, but I don't remember what it was. But I do remember him saying he didn't want to be in this match. He didn't like the idea. He says, as simple as 21 said is, that shit so clean, so memorable 20 years later. Yeah, because it's theatrical. You know, so much of this stuff is theatrical. Shelton got the crowd behind him. The crowd is with him. He said, it's crazy to think that it's still around. I doubt it would be in 2090 going at this rate. Wrestling's going to be fine. It might not be as, you know, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. The only reason it might not be around is if there's some kind of crazy change in the laws. Or something like society collapses or something like that. AJ3 says, great first ever Money in the Bank match. The match type and the entire concept gave WrestleMania some fresh air and made it more of a spectacle. I agree. WrestleMania needs spectacles. It's one of the wrestling match. Too bad. He has terrible instincts, by the way. What year was peak Cena? Man, that's a good question. When he was allowed to get in there and actually do some stuff, 2015, 2016 Cena, was allowed to get in there and work and show that he had actual chops. That was something. But I think power level of 05, 06 Cena was top tier. I mean, 06 Cena was invincible. I mean, he was beating Umaga and Bray Khali and Lashley and all these guys who are either never been pinned or rarely been pinned. Cena putting them on their back pockets. Why would you do an arm breaker off the ladder? That's nuts. But they're booking this thing like Benoit's going to win it because he's getting the most sympathy out of everybody. But everybody's got a role to play. Again, Kane is the base. You do all your jumps on him. Shelton Benjamin is the young upstart, high flyer. Jericho, the reliable name. Oh! Shelton is the high spot guy. Christian and Edge, they kind of played both the dastardly, sneaky heels. You said the U.S. Open Challenge stuff was very overrated? I don't know, man. I don't know. Him going in there, mixing it up with mid-carders, showing that he can really do that shit was very impressive. Like, everybody knew that he wasn't bad, but he was another one of those guys, much like Undertaker, where he wasn't really given a lot to work with. Because there was a time there where Cena was wrestling, not the best talent. But he would get in there with a Triple H or a Shawn Michaels and have a hell of a match, especially when he got in there with Shawn. Or in Jericho, he had a good match with Jericho, too. Good matches with Kurt Angle. He wasn't getting any credit for those, though. But then the legacy of these matches with, like, Umaga is what made him, I think, a bigger star. His matches with Bradshaw should get more credit too, because Bradshaw did a really good job trying to make that guy. He said, as a Cena super fan, there's the ultimate spot. Walked up the ladder. Now everybody's standing up. Tremendous. Has anybody ever stolen that spot? It's been 20 years, and I don't think I've seen anybody else do it. He says, funny, Stone Cold has Cena, Hogan level booking, but never gets criticized. That's because most people are not intellectually honest. You book a wrestling match, Punjabi prison match with pockets, coat, Mox Jack, hangnail, whoever wins gets a thumbs up. If you want to put everybody out of business, sure. I quit the company rather than watch that. Peak Cena was 08. Man had shirts made for adult men that felt embarrassed to buy it. He said, but the true reason I think Edge didn't want to do the match because he got injured from his ladder match. Yeah, the ladder. I think he got injured in the TLC match. Then I think he broke his neck on a ladder in the Eddie Guerrero match too. You think Tony Khan's going to try to buy TNA? I'm pretty sure whatever is in that contract, WWE put a gun to their head and forced them to sign, that if they were going to sell, they have to sell to WWE first. You think CM Punk is washed already? Interesting. You said it was overrated him doing spots with Mark's favorite Ring of Honor wrestlers. Yeah, but most of those guys are people, they didn't think Cena, they thought they were, oh shit, what spot? Nice crossbody from Christian. But people didn't think that Cena could hang with like Sami Zayn or, Kevin Owens and all those guys. And he proved that he could, and that he wasn't just a marketing gimmick. But he also got in there with like Cesaro and stuff, and I thought those matches were fun. I mean, they were fun one-off matches. I mean, as a collection of matches, I think they were pretty good. As an angle, I think it was pretty good too, because he treated himself like a platform to get other guys over, or at least to get them some spotlight. The problem with that is, I think Del Rio beat him, and everybody hates Del Rio. I didn't hate Del Rio. I hated that he won the U.S. title, but I didn't hate Del Rio. I hated that he was the guy who won it. That was weird. You said you notice that no one is openly holding the ladder up or huddling. Yeah, nobody's playing Bob the Builder, stacking ladders on top of each other, and at least not on purpose. That's what these matches are now, with people want to put this ladder here, and it seems like everybody's trying to win. It's not just a bunch of spots on top of each other. As I say that, Chris Benoit is not trying to win. He's trying to climb the ladder and do a flying headbutt. But he's selling the shit out of that arm, though. He said, bro beat Prime Kane clean. What he want to talk about? He didn't get beat by Undertaker and Kane working together. Like, I'm telling you, that was one of the times where I was like, man, I'm kind of done with wrestling, bro. If your power level is so great that you can't, Undertaker and Kane together can't beat you, I don't know what more to do. What more can you do? What's it going to take? You going to fight the whole Holy Roman Catholic Church by yourself? Now, look at how Benoit managed to get a fucked up nose, a scar on his head, all this, and in this match. Benoit was out there working hard than a motherfucker, man. This guy, he working his ass off. That was the one thing about Benoit. You could tell his passion for what he was doing was next level. And he sold his ass off. He was very believable. Somebody took a shit kicking like Bret Hart and Chris Benoit. So as a kid watching Cena, Benoit, Eddie, I always wanted to be a wrestler, but now I'd rather sell boxes. Yeah, you probably better off selling boxes these days. So Cena's peak as a wrestler with consistent great matches have to be ECW One Night Stand in 06 to the least great American Bash 07. People turned on him when he started the feud with Orton. Yeah, Edge is didn't do nothing the whole match and ended up winning. That's privilege, brother. Did no dumb spots the entire match. Took some punishment, but mostly chilled and won. And then we get this really nutty Edge Benoit feud after this, which featured Benoit getting hit in the head with a brick. That was a real brick, but he didn't just get clobbered in the head with a brick. But, I mean, visually, knowing what happened with Chris Benoit, it was very weird, right? WrestleMania goes Hollywood. They did a really good job of building this up for Edge. Because Vince wanted Edge to be something so goddamn bad, he didn't know what to do. He just couldn't find the right my stomach hurt. So Cesaro is one of those Ring of Honor guys that got exposed wrestling John Cena by Vince. And fast forward, he has proven Vince McMahon right. So many of them have, right? There's something missing with these guys. WWE TNA folks say even the multiple man ladder match would look better then. They actually tried to build sympathy in the Money in the Bank, whereas today it's just a collection of spots and someone random wins. I mean, yeah, that is kind of how Money in the Bank is now. People building shit. They didn't even play his theme music until he was already halfway down the ramp. I hate Eugene so much. I don't know what. Why is he wearing his wrestling gear, for God's sake? Oh, they was pointing to the sign 20 years ago? Huh. He said Cena doing certain moves was cringy and clunky. Oh, yeah, when he did the Code Red, that was terrible. It was terrible. The springboard stunner was out of pocket, too. But that's one of the reasons why I liked it, is because it was so ridiculous. You know, Cena doing a Code Red is so absurd. He's so bulky that it didn't make sense for him to do it. And doing the springboard stunner was nonsense, too. And then the lightning strike move, whatever he came up with later, was so ridiculous. You look back and say, Cena is such an unserious guy. He's an unserious man. He said that's where he's telling the story. He used to do also stunner people at multiple times on Raw. See, this is what happens when you got guys that you want to feature, but you don't have a match for them. You put them in a segment like this or something. I don't think Triple H would do that, though. You know, the nutty part is Vince made the executive decision not to do the tag team match with Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels as partners on this show and save that shit. He saved it for Backlash. Cena was unstoppable. In 07, dude was champion, was pinned on TV by Kevin Federline. That was weird. And you know what? I remember right after that happened, and people was like, well, guess wrestling is fake. Like Kevin Federline. And then he beat him with because Booker T hit him in the back of the head with a chair or something silly like that. Something Cena never would have took a pinfall to before. It was so ridiculous. Who do you want? Man, I just want there to be a decent bunch of people to make it this year. I don't know. Oh, they wasn't. It's been 20 years of the what? Yeah, so people that are on NXT now, like Wesley, Tony D, would be the last crop of talent from the Vince era, and stuff from Evolve with the NIL era, besides a few people. Yeah, I think there's like Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Who else was around during that time? Tiffany Stratton was from that era. She probably wouldn't even got on TV if it wasn't for Triple H going down and Brian Breaker. I can't believe people actually hate this character. I don't give a shit. I live around Arabs, and I don't. And Davari is the most Arab of all these Arabs. That's exactly how. If you go into the gas station and start asking why the honey is in the comb, why the comb is in the honey like this, that's exactly how they respond. They're like, okay, whatever, Habibi. He said anything Eugene jumped the shark post SummerSlam 2000 when he nearly beat Triple H clean. He never should have even been in that match. That match was way too long too. I hate that match so much. That match was like 25 minutes. That match was ridiculous. Nobody in this segment is in W. Well, Tavari's still there, I suppose. He's like a producer or something. I was gonna say nobody in this made it anywhere. Most of these people was obsolete by WrestleMania 22. That's the negative thing about this. One of the last times you hear Hogan get the monstrous roar. It's Hulkamania. I just think that he's under a lot of stress, man. Triple H is stressed out. It's WrestleMania week. He's trying to do PR for the company when he shouldn't. He should leave that to the talent. And it's getting to him. This is one of the two segments they decided to do on this show. This show was 3 hours and 45 minutes, and there's two non-wrestling segments because there's the Roddy Piper Steve Austin thing, and of course then there's Big Show and Akibono, and then there was this segment. I didn't know they were saying WrestleMania moments way back then too. Jesus Christ, he'd probably get cheered. I think if Hogan wants to get cheered, he need to go to the UFC. I think his ego is in the way, and they like to see folks get humbled. Ooh, he hit him with a chair. Oh, he no-sold it. Well, of course he did. It's Hulk Hogan. For God's sake. Imagine taking a bump in a suit like this. A white suit at that. Has Davari ever been asked about this? Because he's like the only real Arab in this situation. I know he didn't really care though. He wasn't offended by the character or anything. And he went on to do the Arab Sheik character himself and did it in TNA. The evil Sheik. We getting that money. He went on to do a gimmick like that. The very last time, because all the lies, the racism, hell, his even on daughter, this was so for him. Yeah, so unfortunate. Hogan's a toxic dude, though. He's a piece of shit. He's a pernicious serial prevaricator. He says, out of the smarky wrestlers, who was better, Low Key or Amazing Red? Oh my God, depends on what you want to. Depends on what you want to see. Low Key could probably do a little bit more in terms of he has strong strikes. Low Key is, I mean, Amazing Red is basically just very flashy offense, very small man, can't talk for shit. Low Key had a hell of a voice. He just never had anything to say. He said Davari will revive foreign heels as a producer, but Triple H shut it down because it's corny and hokey in today's age. You got to be kidding me. It's because people were fucking around and cheering. You go out there and talk about how America sucks, and they'd be like, yeah. Well, a certain section of the audience would cheer. Hogan was wrestling this year, too, bro. He wrestled in 2005. Hey, it's the Hogan family. That's his daughter. He said you only seen Amazing Red versus Will Ospreay in 2019 was so best of the year. Ospreay, though. I can't imagine what all they managed to do in that match. I just can't imagine the flips and the sliding under each other's legs and the missed kicks and like I don't have the stomach for that stuff anymore. I'm finding bookmarks all over the place. I know I put some money in one of these books. I hid some cash from myself, but I can't find it. Maybe that was the right thing. Maybe it's in one of my books and I don't open it. Yes, it's that not only did Hogan tarnish his legacy, it's still tarnished because he hasn't done a mea culpa over it. So I still love the Hulkster. But he deserves to get booed. He deserves it. Triple H jobs out the young guys with potential. Huh, unfortunate. Look at Hogan, man. Look how much scenery he's eating up. He's been posing for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And guess what? Everybody's happy and nobody cares. Look at this shit, right? Look at this shit here. Giant flag, brother. Oh, that's what I'm talking about right here, brother. You think Muhammad Hassan was half Arab? I think he came from. Well, he was Italian, and he was just very tan. But why people think so is because of the nose. They make fun of the Jews for having the big nose, but the Arabs have that nose too. It's just usually not as big as the Jew nose. Yeah, I agree. Like of people who Benoit is like the only guy that I think that you should just make no excuses for. I mean, even though there is a solid excuse, with his brain being fucked up, what can you really do with a bad brain? But I just realized that human beings are fallible, and they say stupid things and they do stupid things. And Hogan was no different. Many dragons lay siege to my kingdom. Why is he talking like this? When will Braun Breaker finally get his moment? Probably next year or some shit. Disrespect old Undertaker. Muhammad Hassan was Del Rio 5 years prior. This was going to push the shit out of him. Yeah, if it wasn't for the network wanting him to get out of there, he probably would have. I mean, once he got kicked off Raw, it wasn't much you could do. Then he got kicked off SmackDown too, and you had to kill the character. And trying to repackage the guy really didn't make any sense because he was so good at Muhammad Hassan. This match happened because Randy Orton is a dickhead, which is classic pro wrestling storytelling. Randy Orton is a young upstart whose dick is squarely in the middle of his head and has decided that he can beat The Undertaker. And he's going to do it. You're like, no. I'm begging you, man. I'm begging you, man. Cowboy Bob. Can you believe that people didn't like Undertaker versus the Ortons? This when the streak actually started to matter, though, because Orton tried to break it. And that's how you know this thing is special. Because nobody had really talked about the streak that much until this point. And then Orton wanted to break it, so it matters. And then every match after this became about breaking the streak. God damn it. What a hell of a run. From 21 to 30, every match was about somebody trying to break the streak. That's great. That's truly excellent storytelling. Do I think Tiffany getting jobbed out? Well, let's just say if you got Tiffany Stratton stocks, you probably should sell. That's all I'm going to say. I can't believe Undertaker's coming out first. What are they doing? Okay. Okay. He said Orton's failed face run into being a legend killer heel was so quick it gave me whiplash. Yeah, it happened fast too, didn't it? Boy, it happened quick. They got him. See, that's the thing about having a pivot foot when you are the booker or a promoter. You see something ain't working, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go ahead and go in a different direction. And they went in a better direction. This is much better than him being a babyface. They realized they wanted Cena and Orton to be top guys. They wanted Edge to be a top guy too. And they realized Cena was a great babyface. And he needed heels to work with. So they made sure Edge, very luckily, got caught, bumping uglies with his best friend's girlfriend. That made him easy to hate. And Orton is such a dickhead. That made this thing easy. You said that his Wikipedia said that he was half Italian, half Jordanian. Is it still that way? Because I thought he was like Mark Merrow. Everybody thought Mark Merrow was trying to be Little Richard, and everybody thought Mark Merrow was black. And then it turns out that he wasn't. It's like everybody thought Taz was black. They're just Italians. They got that Negro blood. The Negro genetics. This is a very subdued Undertaker entrance. This was my favorite Randy Orton match for so many years, man. I loved this match. That's because I was such an Undertaker mark. This, I got to tell you, this was one of the matches that had me coming back. He's wearing UFC branded gloves, bro. I just noticed that. The UFC brand is literally on the gloves. I'm sure Vince was not thrilled. Oh, everybody in their mama knew that HBK and Angle was going to kill this thing. And that's why I feel so strongly about the hatred of triple threat matches. Because these are the kind of matches you should have in WrestleMania. Randy Orton, a young upstart, challenging a legend. Two legends going head up to see who's the best, who had never wrestled before. That's the kind of shit you should be having at WrestleMania. He said it's pretty cool. My dad was watching wrestling back in the day. He saw Cowboy Bob. And then later I got to see Randy Orton. Well, I'm old enough to have seen Cowboy Bob on TV. So I got to see Bob and Randy. It feels the same way that I got to see Jim Neidhart and Natalia, Mr. Perfect and Curtis Axel. I got to see IRS and Bray Wyatt. You know, it's amazing. You really don't feel old until you see like these guys who were babies in pictures are now in this damn ring. It says, why can't it be like TV shows and mystery drama? Why can't it be like that? Why can't what be like that? Wrestling? He said, love the actual cop scene attack. Jay Cargill, love Angle. I'm very lost. And look how simple the storytelling is. Orton's a chicken shit. He's trying to stay away and he's disrespectful. Collar and elbow tie up too. Can't believe that. Are you talking about the new era? You got him in a headlock, for God's sake. When the last time you saw somebody put somebody in a headlock? He cinched that joint up too. I can't believe Undertaker's running the ropes for Randy. That's great. This is Undertaker trying to work today, brother. He leapfrog Undertaker, for God's sake. Orton is such an athletic freak. It's amazing that Randy was supposed to wrestle this year. But look at the bumps he was taking, though. You know he can't bump no more. His bump card full, brother. I wonder if they're going to try to sneak Randy on the card. They should. Give him a wild card match or something. Bro's typing like his nose, big nose booking. Ugh. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? This thing that we do, this business. Shut your ass. In 05 to 07, Undertaker was working like he had a point to prove. That's because he did. He was hitting his stride, which was crazy because his prime wasn't when he was younger. His prime was the 2000s. Around this time when Undertaker really started getting it in. Between like 04 and 2012, those were like his best years. And those were the years when he was wrestling one time, couple times a year. 2010, I think he kind of hit a wall there. He was killing it. Had an excellent string of matches with Randy, excellent string of matches with Batista. Some really good shit with Kurt Angle. Oh yeah, I'm clearly partial to 90s Undertaker, but I just didn't like the matches because he was wrestling Mabel and Yokozuna and shit. You know, and he got stuck with King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania, for God's sake. You said, what's Triple H obsession with constantly bringing up the Shield? I think it's because it was such an important moment to each character that it's something that we're talking about. But you got to let these guys grow up at some point. Crazy how stacked SmackDown was at this time. Yeah, that's back during the, well, this is after the SmackDown 6, but like shortly after. Undertaker wearing elbow pads too, which is almost unheard of around this time. He's probably wearing knee pads too. He never wore under elbow pads when he was Dead Man. But this is when he finally, decided to mix the Dead Man with Dead Man Inc., the American Badass. Oh shit! My goddamn tablet's about to die. He actually giving Randy a little bit too. Triple H going out sad for sure. I think he's just frustrated. He should just tell the truth. Like, you guys don't know what I'm dealing with all these guys and their egos and refusing to do jobs to each other. They're treating me in ways they don't treat Vince. Just say, call the motherfucker on the phone, man, and have him talk to Roman. Because I'm pretty sure he's a problem. They're refusing to do jobs to each other. What do I do? Randy Orton's trying to work for 10 years without taking bumps. Vince, what do I do? Stop bringing in 50-year-olds who can't take bumps for starters. Could you imagine they're going to have a Randy Orton Aleister Black match and neither one of them going to hit the mat? They're going to stumble into the ropes to the end of time.
I mean, no, Randy Orton, love to see him on Smackdown, but for now, he is a Raw guy. I'm a Smackdown guy. Randy Orton back in August 15, 2004, defeated Chris Benoit to become the youngest champion in
World Wrestling Entertainment history. Jesus Christ. Look, they got camera guys at ringside. I didn't even notice that until now. I know that didn't happen for much longer. The camera guys at ringside. I know that. This might have been one of the last times for that. Nice counter there by Randy. Yeah, Roman versus Punk with the storyline over Paul would have been excellent and been worthy of the WrestleMania main event. And then they decided to add Seth Rollins. I don't know. It's like you got a perfectly good steak and you decided to throw a pizza on top of it. It's like, okay, I guess. Like it's like a buffet plate. You go to a buffet and people got, chicken wings and why all my analogies have to do with food? Maybe it's because it's the most sensible thing people can remember, and recognize. I don't think if I decided to talk about like Bone Thugs and Harmony or a DJ Premier beat, anybody would understand what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just gonna leave this one on the screen. I need to get a better chair so I can watch these shows, because my chair is a little low and it bunches my knees and ankles and shit up. This feels like it's for a kid. He said WrestleMania 21 holds a special place for me and one of my favorites outside the sumo match and the Trish Hemi match. Damn good Mania. I agree. It was phenomenal. It's one of my favorite WrestleManias. It's top 5 for me. I love 21. 21 top 5. I'm surprised they never ran this match again. They never had Undertaker wrestle Randy Orton anymore after 05. It's like they went 15 years without touching each other again. That's the weird thing about WWE is you would have guys be in the same company forever and never have a match. It's just crazy. Like Brock Lesnar and Batista was on the roster at the same time. They never had the match. Brock Lesnar never had a match with Sheamus. Like these people have been on the roster at the same time forever, and they've never wrestled each other. And after this feud, Undertaker never wrestled Randy Orton again. Whoa, what's this about Batista being a RuPaul impersonator? Whoa, 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 whoa. We almost went an entire run of never having Lashley versus Lesnar. And then we realized that those guys have no chemistry. They were too similar. He said Hunter probably wanted Roman and Drew, but Roman said, nah, call me when you find. Drew was trying to get into that triple threat match. Like, hey, I have a history with all of those guys. And Roman was like, nope. Get that hairy bastard up out of here. I don't want nothing to do with that hairy punk. Was my meal plans for WrestleMania weekend? I was thinking about buying a pizza, eating half of it for on night 1 and then half on night 2. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do though. Like I have wanted pizza. I had a hanker for pizza for like 2 weeks, but I don't want to eat pizza 2 days in a row. Also, kind of want some Chinese food, so I don't know. Depends if I go over Young Sturt's house to watch. I think I'm going over his house to watch night 1 because I haven't seen him in a while. He said Lesnar was mostly on SmackDown and Batista was injured for most of 03 and Lesnar was tapped out. Yeah, but then when he came back, Batista came back too. And they were both on the same shows sometimes. And there's never even a conversation about Batista versus Lesnar. I know that by that point in time, though, Batista was on like a reduced schedule. But and he was basically in Hollywood at that point. But you would think that would have been money that they could have made, Batista versus Lesnar. I think that's one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling, though. Like I don't think of Undertaker and Sting as a what if, but Batista and Lesnar because they were in the same company. What the fuck? What kind of Chinese food, brother? I'm very partial to sweet and sour. Whoa, Orton, what happened? Oh, he got the cast on, brother. Got the cast gimmick, brother. It's still over. He said Batista quit after. Well, Lesnar came back in May or April of 2012. He had a series of matches with Cena. We got Triple H wrestling Lesnar, and none of those matches were memorable at all. They weren't bad. They just weren't memorable. And sometimes people just get the wrong idea that unless something knocks your socks off, then it was bad. I don't think the Triple H Lesnar matches were bad. I just don't think that they were great. Ooh, what a boot. Great boot. It said there was a lot of matches you never, yeah. Never, even after Hogan came back, we never got Hogan and Flair at WrestleMania. It never happened. Even though they were both in the company at the same time. Many times, they never wrestled at WrestleMania. Even when it would have made logical sense to have Flair and Hogan, finally, they still didn't do it. Do you believe Orton fucked up his shoulder on the finish and was out right before SummerSlam? But the Undertaker never. Well, whatever. Who cares? Tombstone time, brother. And that's it for the young god. That guy wearing a 1998 Triple H shirt. Jesus Christ. Hell of a match. Yeah, that was tremendous. I love these guys. He said they had a one-off Hogan versus Flair on Raw for the title in May of 02, and that's sick. That's sick. You like Javon Evans now? I think he's doing a good job, man. His talking is not the best. That's not his strong suit, but he's going out there and he's going to get it. I appreciate his energy. You know what? I'm just about to say this. I don't like Taz as a commentator, bro. I don't think he actually adds anything to the conversation. The M Studio says 2005 was a great year for feuds in WWE. Yeah, unless you were, the Wrestling Observer newsletter who hated everything. But I had a lot of fun. This is what got me back into it. The Triple H Batista feud. I had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun with that Backlash match and with their Hell in a Cell match. I love their Hell in a Cell match, and I'm tough on Triple H. But his work with Batista was top notch. He really did a great job there. And of course, Orton and Undertaker was great too. You don't listen to the prediction shows because I did a prediction show already. Oh, I forgot about Christy Hemme. Here she is. You said you always love Taz. Even the depths of AEW hell is great. I don't like Taz. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've never thought Taz had a great call ever. Oh my goodness. She spray paint slut on this girl. God damn it. That's insane. That's good shit. That's amazing stuff right there. I gotta tell you. All she did was challenge Trish, and now we got the match. Oh, stop it. The Trish Lita thing. Stop it. This is nonsense. Yeah, that Ray versus Eddie stuff. Yeah, that was tremendous. And a lot of their stuff went through SummerSlam. Like, think about that. Like, Batista and Triple H didn't make it to SummerSlam, but Ray versus Eddie made it to SummerSlam. Orton and Undertaker went beyond SummerSlam. Like, there was so much long form storytelling that was here. He said Christie was inexperienced and worked as a filler defense for Trish. Surprisingly, not the worst match of the night. Well, Christie had no business being in the ring. That was pretty much obvious, but she's very excited to be there. Nevertheless, this match ain't gonna be long because this is Divas era shit. So this is probably about to be 5 or 6 minutes the most. Can't have a show without. I don't understand why they just didn't have Lita wrestle Trish. Was Lita hurt or something at this time? Or did she had just beat Lita or something? I don't know. But it seemed like that would have been the right smart move. Oh yeah, Angle and Shawn Michaels, they continued too. They were still wrestling months later after this too. They cooked this WrestleMania, boy. They started so much like this wasn't even the it was the end kind of Evolution, and it was the end, of course, of JBL, but it was the start of so many different feuds that would go on for the rest of the year. Truly masterful booking by Vinnie Mac and company. Second half of Ruthless Aggression Era is my jam. I'm biased because that's when I started watching. Interesting. The 2004, 2005 was peak heel Trish. She looked so confident in everything as the years she surpassed Lita. Lita got trapped in Amber. That's what happened. She got trapped in the Attitude Era, and she never really got out of that. While Trish sort of evolved as a character. He said, never should Christie have had debuted in a title match at Mania. That call was indefensible. Well, if you take into account that she might have been porking the boss. I'm not saying she was. I'm saying it's something that has been rumored. Yeah, it definitely should have been like somebody like Victoria or somebody like wrestling her in this role. But we got what we got, and her leg is not even fit to be wrestling. I don't think Christy Hemme has seen the inside of a gym in terms of weightlifting or anything at this point in time. Oh, Lita was just returning from injury. Yeah, it seemed like it's a pretty filler. Got to have a nice pivot foot, and we and have a match that where Lita can't. What's the name? Christy can't fuck anything up. I'm surprised Trish ain't wrestling this year at WrestleMania. I thought they kind of teased it, but they had a Wrestle Elimination Chamber and that was it. She didn't even get her foot up high enough to kick her in the crotch. You can do that. Wait a minute. The hell she was watching what's that bum? Uh Colt Cabana. She was watching Colt Cabana matches. Oh yeah, he just mentioned that she was hurt. That's a hell of a roll up there. It was kind of deep. Crappy spear. Terrible spear. It was a tackle. Very bad. No good spear. You see how they're not trying to do too much? Nobody's trying to do a springboard such and such because nobody knows how to do that shit at this point. So they're sticking with pure babyface heel shit here with Trish. I can see Trish talking to her though, so clearly she's trying to get her to do something. But this is actually not a terrible storyline with Christy being the inexperienced, got no business being in the ring, but she's being trained by the legendary opponent of champion. If only she had some kind of level of experience, it might have been okay. But she was so bad that this really served no purpose. But this is what makes WWE different. Is they'll throw somebody in there who's only had like one or two matches, but you build a story around it which might make it interesting. Look at Trish stomping with the head. True worker, brother. It's crazy that she's the number one contender having no matches and haven't beat nobody. They built up that she hits the one move she knows how to do and it gets kicked out of. Now what? True worker. Somebody fed her that move and then Trish just kicked out of it. Didn't put the foot on the ropes, didn't grab the bottom rope, just kicked out of it. And now you like, okay, you built up for her to know this one move. She did the one move she knows how to do, and that's it, right? Whoa, what was that? That was close. Oh, she bumped before the kick even came, brother. That finish was botched. Christy dove for the floor before the kick even came. She was like, oh shit, never mind. Trish barely mustered her hair up, but the Divas era match goes, it was typical. It was short and sweet. Imagine having a year like Liv Morgan and have a shitty tag team match. Well, it's some kind of spotlight, I guess. They didn't have anywhere else to put unless you want to make another fatal four way or triple threat or something. It really doesn't feel like WrestleMania is this week at all. It's just maybe as we get along, it'll feel better. Maybe when Saturday actually comes, it'll feel more like WrestleMania. But the amount of media makes it feel like WrestleMania. The slut spray paint, you don't see that anymore. Why? You don't see people get spray painted anymore. Period. Anyway, I don't understand why. You said what sucks about WrestleMania 21 is that Rob Van Dam wasn't on the card due to injury. I didn't even know he was injured. And Booker T was on the Dark Match Battle Royal. Ooh, that's tough. I'm sure they could have found something for Booker to do. Could have go ahead and throw him in that damn ladder match. You could put everybody in a ladder match. Hey Cole, how you doing? Huh, you ain't gonna hear that no more. You surprised no one talks to Trish and Lita about this match at WrestleMania 21? Well, probably because there ain't much to it. Lita was just brought in to add some level of credibility to Christy Hemme, who couldn't do anything. She just did the best she could, which, is all you can ask for. Yeah, it's funny because Angle was a pivot. It was talks for The Rock versus HBK, but talks fell through and Angle filled the role. Man, they stole the show. The show, shit, they basically stole the year. What a tremendous match. You said, yeah, BNP matches were more Christy's speed. She could have killed it in something like that. I did look. That's the thing, though. If you build it up, even if the match is the shits, with enough accoutrements, people will care about it. You don't hear women use the word slut as an insult. That's true. They just go for bitch mostly. Your mother's a whore. The build up to this Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle thing was tremendous. Him beating up Sherry and Marty Jannetty. Damn, what the fuck what did he do to him? He kicked him in the face like that. I think this would have been better than HBK versus The Rock anyway. The Rock in there trying to big league Shawn, that probably wouldn't have worked out. This show about to go from good to really good. You said, was that Sherry's last appearance before she passed? Nope, it was the Hall of Fame induction. She was supposed to be a producer after that, and she was going to come back, but she ended up passing first. But she made it to the Hall of Fame, and she appeared there live, and then I think she got signed to her Legends contract shortly after that. And they was going to have her help produce or agent some of the girls' matches. I don't understand why they didn't name the Battle Royal after Sherry. She didn't do anything except, use drugs. I get it. We don't want to support people who do drugs, but fuck. You named the men's battle royal after Andre the Giant. Come on. You got to have some woman that you can name the damn. Okay, you don't want to use Moolah. Fine. Mae Young, you already used it for the tournament. Okay. It's got to be somebody. You said this match marked the debut of HBK's chaps and the death of the classic tights. I'm glad the classic tights went away, though, even though I kind of liked them. Second WrestleMania where HBK was getting mixed reactions. We need to tell our kids how great Kurt Angle was, because I don't want our kids growing up thinking that Koji Kanemoto and all those motherfuckers are the best wrestlers on the planet. When they occupy the same profession as these two guys, and you sit here and tell me two Japanese dudes who even the other Japanese people couldn't pick out of a fucking lineup are the best wrestlers in the world. Kiss my entire back ass. Yeah, they talked about it on Dark Side of the Ring. It was also kind of whispered about at the time that that's what she was getting her Legends contract. They were going to bring her in, and she had just gotten the paperwork and everything, and she died right before then. The Miss, no, Elizabeth wasn't a wrestler, so naming it after her doesn't make sense. So it would have to be like Wendy Richter, or I don't want to say Medusa because that's the easy one, and she's still alive too. So, and I know most people would say China, but China did porn and all that kind of shit. Look how they started this thing. He's you gonna punish him for smacking him in the face. Yeah, what is Sean trying to do here? He cannot escape. Kurt Angle, forget it. I'm just a sexy turd that make your ankle hurt. He said, wasn't the Wrestling Observer newsletter on TNA and Ring of Honor's crotch? Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure some what would amount to a dark match in some dingy arena was better than this, according to Meltzer during that year. I'm sure if you looked it up, I don't have access to that kind of stuff. I only have access to Wrestling Observers that have been posted on archive, which is like the first 6 years. So like 83 to 89 or 83 to 90. I'm not paying to go and get old observers. If somebody wants to post that stuff on archive, that would be great. But I'm pretty sure if you looked, he probably said, "Oh, this was a pretty good match for WWE standards." But if you watch it in the Tokyo Dome with Akira Taue and Misaharu Miyamoto or whatever the fuck, whatever, bro. The Sherry Martel Memorial Battle Royal would have been the best decision. Granted, her career was cut short due to her own demons. She fell off kind of hard, but Sherry was a legit wrestler and former champion. Agreed. And she was a mainstay of the golden era of WWE. She was the manager for Ted DiBiase and Shawn Michaels. She was one of the lead villains against Hulk Hogan, teamed with Macho Man Randy Savage. She was involved with the Randy Savage, Miss Elizabeth love triangle when Savage went nuts at WrestleMania 5. And then he teamed up with Sherry after that. Then he teamed with Sherry at WrestleMania 6 when he wrestled Dusty Rhodes. And then he teamed, Sherry was still with him when he was the Macho King for WrestleMania 6 and 7 when he lost his career to the Ultimate Warrior. And then Sherry turned on him. She was there for all that stuff. On top of being a wrestling champion. I mean, she was integral to storylines up until like 1992 or 1993. She should get the Battle Royal over China. Yes, even over China, who was the first woman who won the Intercontinental title. Don't care. You should have went to Sherry. Just call it the Sensational Battle Royal. The Sensational Invitational. How about that? I just came up with that on the top of my head. 05-06 Angle was a different level. I had dubbed him the Cyborg around this time because he wasn't human, the shit he was doing at this time. And he was going out there having bangers with everybody. And he was probably high on everything possible at this point in time. Heel Trish was a menace. If you ever saw that Queen of the Ring movie where it's all about Mildred Burke, why do they keep disrespecting Erase Fabulous Moolah's contribution and memory to the business? Well, if I was a better YouTuber, and I considered this, I would do the history of the women's world title, and that would explain a lot. That would explain a lot. I still haven't seen that stupid fucking movie. I'm gonna try to find it because I want to watch it this weekend. Sherry is such a amazing character. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to watch any sort of golden era WWE and not see Sherry somewhere on the card doing something amazing. And she took body slams from Hulk Hogan at a time when they weren't doing a lot of that stuff. She got clotheslined by Hogan too. I think she took like some hits from the Ultimate Warrior as well. She took bumps from the guys and everything. She deserves it. She did drugs, man. They all did, for God's sake. Fuck. Everybody did drugs at this point. You gotta forgive them and move on. Drugs ain't even the worst thing a motherfucker has done in WWE. You got sex pests and presidents. Come on, man. They're still in the Hall of Fame. You got to give Sherry her chance. If I had to make a choice, it'd be the Sensational Invitational, year one. And it would be on the main show. Not, well, it'll probably be like the Monday after. Look at that counter. Yeah, she did. She got put through some tables and stuff. And then she also did some really good stuff in WCW too. With Harlem Heat. She didn't last long in WCW, but she was pretty good there too. Angle is so goddamn intense. Boy, look at this guy. He looks like he's legitimately in there trying to hurt Sean. He said 21 and 22 is the last Mania in regular arena. It feels like they're in regular arenas, like the kind of joint they would run for a Raw or a SmackDown, and then when they leveled up to the stadiums, they were like, okay, we can do this. And I'm not so sure I love the stadium feel. Sometimes stadium is too big, it's too many people. Sometimes a smaller arena like this, the energy fits better. Like especially if WrestleMania is going to be a prestige event where you're doing 50, 60,000 people paying $2,000-$3,000 in tickets, doing a regular show, well, a regular arena of like 30,000, 20,000 people, but paying 3,000 a piece, that would be good money. Sometimes smaller buildings actually are better. Sometimes. Just sometimes. Don't get me wrong though. I like this. I like stadiums and shit, but sometimes you get better crowd reaction in a smaller building. And they also need to stop having WrestleMania in the middle of the fucking day, especially out in the West Coast, and it's sun shining and stuff. Ooh, an angle slam against the post. That was great. Of course, it makes sense because of Sean's back. You got to know the history. Ugh. Yeah, he had a bad back, all right. Bad back. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Angle. You got the Donatello joint on his back. Discs bulging. You said stand and deliver gonna be at 1 p.m. so 10 a.m. over there. Yeah, man. It's the middle of the goddamn morning, bro. If I'm going to have pizza, I might have it for stand and deliver. Actually, I need to eat something light for stand and deliver because I don't want to go too far. Might have like a big salad and chop up some chicken thighs or something and put it in there. Yeet. I have to talk myself up to something. Perk Angle versus 90 Sean. Well, Sean is brothering to get the win. I can tell you that. And Perk Angle probably doesn't care as long as he gets to go in there and jump off shit. He wants to do a somersault, you know? Just randomly for no reason. But it chopped stiff. This show almost over already. It's only like 3 or 4 more things left. Ooh-wee. Yeah, buddy. I just now thought about it. There's no tag team matches on this show. Is there? I think that probably helped my enjoyment. There was no tag team matches on. It's not that I even hate tag team matches. It's that this is WrestleMania. You got the biggest matches possible, and none of the tag teams were any fucking good. User Angle is in my top 10 workers of all time. Honestly, I think that even put him at number 5 in that list. I love me some Kurt Angle, bro. I really do. I think he did a really good job in TNA too. He did an excellent job in TNA. I wish Angle would have gotten the chance to like do some stuff with Batista. I think that would have been fine. But he got to put his hands on John Cena, so that was good too. I haven't watched any of those old events in a long time. Maybe we should do those for watch-alongs. You know, some of those Unforgivens and various things from 05 that I don't remember seeing. Like I didn't get that Unforgiven that had Angle and Cena on top. I never got that event, so I never seen it, which is crazy. I was very picky in what shows I bought. And by bought, I mean bought on pay-per-view. I don't think I've ever seen that whole Judgment Day that had Cena and JBL's I Quit match. I don't think I've seen that whole show. Yeah, slap's always a bad idea. He busted his lip with that slap too. This was before everybody decided they were a jiu-jitsu expert. And that's sad. Well, at least there was a battle royal. But it's crazy that the battle royal actually is a thing that exists, meaning they do them almost literally every year. But they didn't start actually trying to make it a thing until they named it after Andre the Giant. So Rock and Shawn didn't wrestle because Shawn disrespected his grandmother at a booking and bullied him in '97 and stiffed him in 2000. Probably. I mean, there's a lot of run-ins that Shawn had with The Rock. You know, they had a long history of not liking each other. Really, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with Shawn's being extremely disrespectful. And then he wasn't much better when he came back. He was better than he was, but he wasn't much better. There's still a lot of stories about 05, 06, 07 Shawn. Guys like Hurricane Helms and Chris Masters. He hadn't changed that much. You said maybe you time to unify the tag team. I think that's the best option. You know, I get the idea of wanting to have 2 sets of tag team belts, but what's the point really? Look at Angle slipping all on the apron. This is one of the few times where the "I'm better than you" gimmick actually worked, because people legitimately wanted to see who would win this thing, because they had never wrestled before, for God's sake. Yeah, babyface Booker had run his course after he got beat at WrestleMania 19. I didn't see the point in him still being a babyface. Hey, that was right in front of the ref, for God's sake. He kicked him right in the nuts, right in front of the ref, and the crowd instantly booed him. They were going with Angle anyway. The crowd had chosen Angle as their favorite in this match. He kicked him in the nuts. This springboard is nasty. Jeez. What a springboard. One of the few times Shawn Michaels bust out a springboard move. That's crazy. It might have been the only time he ever did something like this, too. That's what makes a match special, is when you do a super move like that, and it's the only time you do it, then people know, if they see a photo, what match it came from. He said, yeah, Helms and does not like Shawn still to this day. Crazy, they work together. Well, I don't think Helms is a producer on NXT. I think he's a producer for like Raw or SmackDown. But I'm glad that people have, they grown up and they moved on. It's terrible that guys they get to that point. But when you're competing for real estate on television with these guys, man, they can be cutthroat. They can be rough on you. You want to know something that's also interesting? There's there's not a lot of camera cuts. There is camera cuts. Clearly, there's probably too many, but that excessive camera cutting that they would be known for in the 2000s, 2010s, it's not here. Like, they still cut the camera too often, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. He said this match convinced me that HBK's second run was better than his first due to the talent around. Absolutely, I think he put in more effort um in his second run than he did in his first. In the first run, he was so cocky that he was going out there stunting on people and everything, because he was running circles around most of the roster. And the only guys who could really compete with him was Sean Waltman, who was basically a jabroni, Owen Hart, who pretty much got booted over to the tag team division after Brett beat him. Brett, of course, who left the company. Bulldog was, he was a shade below. And pretty much everybody else couldn't really see Sean in the ring. So he was running circles around those dudes, man. He's in there with fucking Bradshaw and Yokozuna and King Kong Bundy and shit. Like, that's nonsense. But now, in this era, he got to work with a lot of guys around his own size, guys who were more technically proficient. The crowd roaring at this ankle lock, boy. They want an Angle to win bad. Look at this. Look at the drama of this thing here. That's what makes WWE different from other wrestling promotions. They care more about the drama than the actual action. The visual of Shawn reaching for the ropes is more important than. If you were a lower Carter, who would you rather deal with? Hogan, Shawn, Rock, or Cena? Probably Cena. You know, he probably seemed to be the most level-headed of the bunch. Hogan and Shawn are giving you nothing. The Rock is probably just mock you to death forever. He's at that close two count, tricked out. I jumped off the couch thinking the match was over. Then the match is continuing. Oh, nice kick out there. Kick out of his finish, for God's sake. Absolutely. This is what I'm talking about. When I say I want the biggest match possible, this is it. This is a dream match. This is the kind of shit that you want to see at WrestleMania. You know, once WrestleMania 3 happened and you got Savage and Steamboat, you got to have at least one of those every year. At least one. It's just a work rate match, brother. That's all it is. No titles on the line. That's just who's the best. This fucking match could have closed the show if they wanted it to. It wasn't nothing after this going to follow it, for God's sake. Kurt Angle saying, fuck it, I'm going to the skies, bruh. Hogan is a serial prevaricator. He's a lying bastard, man. He's a lying motherfucker. But then again, that's a lot of wrestlers, man. A lot of wrestlers are bullshit artists. They lie a lot. There's a lying as motherfuckers in any industry. But technically, what they do is they exaggerate. Oh boy. 1, 2, and he still kicked out of that shit. Super Shawn, for God's sake. The referee sweating. Look at this guy. He's having a tough day. Look at this shit. Angle is off the rails at this point. He's out of his mind, cuz. I love that spot. That's my favorite spot of the whole fucking match. This match is tremendous. They should definitely, I'm sure if they were thinking about it, you know, you want to crown your young guys, so you want to put them on later, but in a pure, they're not going to be able to follow this. HBK and Angle should have main evented the show. You could have went home happy as shit after this one. But you do want to put your young guys over, so putting Batista on last, I don't know, was probably a Triple H power pull just so it won't go to JBL. But I also thought they legitimately believed that Batista was going to be a bigger star than Cena. And then they, ooh, wait. Ooh, what was that? Oh yeah, Super Angle Slam was nuts. You know what made it so much better? The cover. He cinched up on the cover. Look at the guys in the front row standing up now. Triple H liked being in the main event without realizing that people was going to be on the undercard stealing it from him. What a fool. I think every Triple H main event has been subverted by an undercard match. Every single one. Every single time he ended up in the main event, there was a match on the undercard that was better than what he did. That's probably because he's not very good. Not very good wrestler, not very good booker. Look at this shit. Look, Sean basically fed him the ankle. It was obvious as shit when you look at it. You know, Angle snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Look at this shit, man. Look at the struggle in this shit. He's not letting it go easily. And Angle is not going immediately for the leg lock, which he should. Look at this. This is Sean. This is theatrics. Nah, it's over. That hideous position of his legs. But this is somebody Sean could work with though, because he agreed to do the job on the condition, of course, that they would do rematches. And Angle actually did the rematches, unlike Hogan, for God's sake. Sean always had to get that win back though. He wasn't giving up pins for nothing. He wasn't giving away free pins. You got to be kidding me. You don't become a top guy by giving away free pins. He milking the shit out of this thing, dog. We're on a time limit, Sean. Yeah, the grapevine of the leg was over. He probably should have tapped then, but Sean, being theatrical, held on for another minute or two. I'm sure Angle didn't give a shit. He was winning the match, so might as well give Sean some integrity on the way out. The Triple H versus Batista is a slightly better match. It's still not a good match by my expectations. However, I can stay awake watching it. But JBL versus Cena makes me doze off. I'm not a big fan of JBL in the ring. I love the character, but I will avoid a JBL match if I can. And I don't like none of his main events, really. He's just still, Justin Hart Bradshaw to me, brother. Incredible match, period. No title on the line, just pride. But it matters. I ain't gonna say he's the best, brother. This is one of the biggest wins of Angle's career. He dropped that rematch, though. Sean is the master of maintaining integrity of his character. Giving away clean losses and shit. He gonna get them back. He got that win back off Ray, too. Nobody getting no sleep. I think Benoit might have been the only one that got a win off of him, and then he didn't get it back. Do you think Charlotte's going to try to get her win back at Backlash? Don't make the mistake of thinking she's going to lose the first one. Don't make that mistake. And look how Vince didn't try to top epic match with another epic match immediately afterwards. He went into something else, something different. Roddy Piper's the first dead man I've seen in a while, which is great. Because this show is 20 years old. And there's a couple of dead guys on this show. But it's been a while since I saw somebody dead. Not like watching the 80s where like 90% of the roster is fucking dead. It's the saddest shit. I watched one show and I think Ricky Steamboat was the only person still alive. I was like, God damn. I'm old. I don't even understand what the point of this segment was, outside of just getting Steve Austin and Roddy Piper in the ring together. Like, where were they going with this?
Thank you for the honor of the Hall of Fame.
Amazing. They put Piper and Hogan at the same time.
Let's move on and make history. Oh boy, here we go. WrestleMania 25.
It was poor Kia thinks he's Scottish.
The baddest man in the WWE.
Poor guys. He might be of Scottish descent, but he's most certainly Canadian. Damn it, I'll be lying. A clothesline from hell is one of my favorite finishers. It didn't look good from a stationary position, but coming off the ropes full steam looked like money. It depends. It depends on how he was doing it. You know, if you look at Stan Hansen doing it, my God, it was great. And that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to go for the Stan Hansen variation of it. But his off the ropes was nasty. Bradshaw full steam off the ropes. Goddamn, almost 400 pounds coming in your direction. That's nuts. If his stationary or, short version was great, it'd probably be much better. But he had to get up, get some steam behind it, almost like a spear or a pounce. I wonder if Stone Cold gonna do it. Well, no, he's not doing shit. They probably had to bribe him to get him to show up to do this Hall of Fame thing. He's a chicken farmer or some shit now. He don't wanna. They don't want to be bothered with the Khans, Nick Khan and fucking Triple H. I could just imagine. I would be grumbling my ass off if the guy who called me to do something is fucking Triple H. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. If you were a top guy and then fucking Triple H calls you to do something, you're like, what? What? But they were in the company at the same time. How did they not notice? Oh, there's a lot of people getting smacked on this show, man. A lot of smacking men. Men smacking men on this show. A whole lot of smacking.
Thank you very much for having me, you little son of a bitch.
Ooh, boy.
I like it. Would you like another? No, we got that up. I can imagine stuff. I ain't never been to Japan. I got lots of stuff for you. I ain't doing that again. I'll tell you something else, sir.
Yeah, just watch some Stan Hansen. That's where he was going with it when he tried to do the clothesline from hell. I like Stan Hansen. It was good. He was great in Japan. He's really great in Japan. That's where he did his best work, I think. But I'm a big fan of his stuff in the United States, specifically his stuff against Bruno Sammartino. I think it's pretty good. But he was very young at that point in time. He wasn't quite the character that he would become later on. And in some cases, he became a bit of a caricature of like great crazy cowboy guy. And then he's wrestling. Most of the times, he was wrestling smaller than he was. He got to brutalize, to beat the shit out of him. Unlike when he was wrestling Bruno, where Bruno was a big fucking guy, and Hansen was a big guy too. But Jesus Christ, Bruno was in there bumping him like nuts. Then, especially after he broke his neck, that was crazy.
I was there when Wrestlemania didn't have a number. I was pissing Vince McMahon off when the red on the back of their neck was diaper rash, buddy. But son, on the rebel part, you Nordansky got nothing on. Trust me.
Right. Piper did more cocaine one night than beers you've ever drunk.
You ought to know I don't trust one single son of a bitch, much less you. You come out here talking your trash in your little black jacket.
What?
Little white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Little red dress. Little furry gimmicks.
Furry gimmicks.
Messed up boots. Little goatee. It's like you can't run off. Am I supposed to be impressed by you? Are you supposed to intimidate me? Am I supposed to be scared?
I wish they could have done something physical with each other, but Piper was far too old to make this thing any type of competition. They was entirely too old for Piper to do anything at this point. If they were to have a match, it would have to be a squash match because Austin was, like 2 years off of retirement and could physically still go. And they threw Carlito in the middle of this shit. He calling timeout. Look at Carlito in this oversized shirt. That shirt is way too big, brother. That shirt does not fit, my guy. Them pants don't fit either, my dude. He's swimming in both of them joints.
Arguing and stopping each other like little girls. You guys shouldn't be arguing. I mean, you guys have one thing in common. Neither of you two is cool.
Carlito peaked right here, brother.
Nobody wants to see you two anymore. Everybody wants to see Carlito. Well, then come your little fancy head in the ring. I'm coming. Hey. Hi. Who the hell are you? You look like Alfalfa. Quit talking, get your ass in there, you want to fight? Relax. See?
They about to run him over. Yeah, I like that Austin and Lesnar just rolled off into the sunset. They just gave up on this shit. Like, fuck it, it's over. The gravy train is over, bros.
Walk on down to the back. You
Yeah, he told you to leave.
You walk on out of here. You want me to follow you? I don't care what, but I said this. You guys got a problem with that.
You want me to follow him?
Yeah, I got a problem with that, man.
Oh. Oh, he attacked Roddy Piper. Oh, shit. I didn't even remember this part. I remember him spitting the apple on him. And Austin just letting it happen. This is nuts. He gonna let you get beat to death. This is another one of those things that you don't hear a lot about. There's not a lot of like shooter interviews talking about, Carlito hanging out with Steve Austin and Roddy Piper, where the idea came from. He took a decent stunner. He came out to WrestleMania wearing an orange shirt, and all his clothes was too big. Yeah, get him out of here. Get him out of here. He came out here wearing Cleveland Browns colors. Get him out of here. Get lost, Carlito. It was great. He had a nice little baby face. Very young guy. It's a good place for your career to peak. You're in there with Steve Austin and Roddy Piper. That's amazing. Can't nobody take that away from you. You didn't become world champion, but at least you got that. You took a stunner at WrestleMania 21. Didn't have a match, but still. The whole segment was, yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't think too much about it. The whole point was to do with, a little bit of back and forth between the two of them, and then Carlito would come out too. So they can do all this shit. Very feel good. Very much a feel good thing. Oh, you got Piper staggering already. Piper selling the shit out of that joint though. He ain't take a great bump, but he sold it after the fact. Piper's in his fucking late 40s or something like that at this point, man. He wasn't gonna take a good bump. Carlito took a decent bump though. He looks like a decade younger than Piper. Shit, his skin's still smooth. Piper is terrible shape. But sometimes a segment that doesn't go anywhere, that the whole purpose is just to pop the crowd, is fine. It's WrestleMania. You bring some legends out there, and it's no big deal. People want to see legends do stuff. They edited the shit out of this show, man, because it's moving at a nice clip.
Now, in this match, declared the winner must either push your opponent outside.
This is dumb. This is a stupid match. And it's 100% Big Show fault. Because he's a fat bastard and they put him in a sumo match. He would never have been in a sumo match if he wasn't a fat fuck. Excuse my language. I heard this was supposed to lead to Akebono getting signed by the WWE to work to wrestle, but it didn't work. He's a very, very fat guy. Also, hilariously, Vince brought him in to replace Yokozuna when the Arab Zax tour. Very funny stuff. He's a real life Yokozuna. Yeah, well, as real life as possible. I think he's only like half Japanese. So. $504. He walked like he's 600 pounds. He walking like he's 82 years old. That's just a lot of weight on that body, even a big one. Piper was 50? Okay. Yeah, it sounds about right. All these goddamn Asians in Hawaii. Oh my God. I think Vince was making fun of Big Show by having him do this. Ugh. My blood boiling. I haven't seen Big Show in forever, man. My skin crawling. My God. Oh. I haven't watched a show that had Big Show on it in a long time. It's been a long, like I said earlier about not seeing Jerry Lawler in a long time. I haven't seen Big Show. Him being cocky as hell too is kind of throwing me for a loop. Actually got this goddamn. Oh my word. Oh my word. Look at this mass of humanity. Piper died in 2015 at 61. Man, that's unfortunate. Chasing off evil spirits. Yeah, where the hell would you put it? Where would one put that? This is very bad. But this is a spectacle, and this is something Vince likes to do. He likes to do spectacles. They had a ladder match on this same show, dog. HBK and Kurt Angle tore it up in this same very ring that these two fat bastards is hanging around in right now. Why are they teaching us about sumo? We don't give a fuck about sumo, Michael Cole. Tell the story of sumo wrestling. I don't know. I wish they'd have made him gave him like samurai swords or something. Big Show can take a goddamn axe to the dome piece. And they wasting a lot of goddamn time here. They chewing up a lot of scenery with their big ass. Big ass bodies. That fan is dope. It reminds me of Dynasty Warriors. I don't know why I said that. I know, China and Japanese are two different. Why are people cheering this? Don't cheer this. Don't encourage them. Mawashi. They got these guys calling a goddamn sumo match. What was the thought behind this? How nightmares you had watching Big Show's Big White? I'm gonna have 100 of them tonight. Jesus Christ. I might have to watch like Baddies or something like that to get this out of my head. That was a nasty bump he took, you fat fuck. There's too much ass on the screen at this point in time. They took the ropes down for this shit. They should have made him a sumo wrestler like permanently in dark matches just to punish people for buying tickets. You want to buy a ticket to this shit? Enjoy his big white ass. This match over a second Divas match or something, Tori and Candice or something like that. Yeah, I mean, they just wanted to get Big Show, big fat ass on the show. They didn't, Booker T was in a battle royal and this fucking stuff was on TV. Now we get to Big Match John. That's what we're all here for. Big Match John. Yeah, they wobbled around the ring for a good 2 or 3 minutes, just burning time. Dog shit. The only thing on this show that I could say was objectively bad. Ooh, shit. That match that Bradshaw had with Eddie Guerrero, where they hit each other with chairs, that was an amazing match. That was probably my favorite JBL match. What is the best Chang Jane jersey? The Mania 21 or the Royal Rumble white and camouflage? I like the OG, the WrestleMania 21 Chang Gang shirt. I like that, John. I wouldn't wear it, but I like it. They doing way too much letting John Cena put his hands on Teddy Long. That's crazy. I don't even remember that. Is he the only one that ever attacked Teddy Long like this? I don't remember anybody else putting their hands on Teddy. That's your favorite JBL match too, yeah. It ended in disqualification, but they were nailing each other with those chairs. That shit was nuts. You like Big Show and Cena? I don't like Big Show. There's that. That's the answer to that question. So it's hard for me to say what's a good Big Show match. Oh shit! He put water in his 10-gallon. Oh, they did the spray bank jam it twice in the same road to WrestleMania. Amazing. Oh, they getting the man arrested. He didn't call the police. He didn't call the police. Oh, he kicked him in the nuts. That ramp is nasty looking. It looks like cement. I know it's not, but it looks like cement. They got a motorcade, police escort. All right then. It's crazy. This fool was gone like a year or two later. He was pretty much on his way out. I think he made it to 25, and then that was it. I think that was his last one. But he had been in the company since 1995 at that point. Like, just imagine you was in the company so long, they ended up making you the champion. Only because everybody that was better than you took off. That's not fair. That's not a fair assertion, but because Bradshaw legitimately got better. It's JBL Bucks. Is it real money or is it JBL Bucks? Oh, it is. What are the Japanese people doing here? Yeah, Cena was super over at WrestleMania 20, that's for sure. I just don't like Big Show, so there's just no way of getting me on board with it. They had JBL Bucks printed. I think some asshole's probably selling them shits on eBay right now for like $400 for a JBL Buck. When WrestleMania 9, they gave away real money. And there it is, years later, where Vince got more money, they're giving away JBL Bucks. That's crazy. He learned his lesson. He always had Ted DiBiase give away real money. He came to the ring first. That's nuts. Champions coming to the ring first. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful as fuck, really. But I guess it makes sense because he had the motorcade and all that, the JBL Bucks and everything. His matches with Booker T were real bad. I hated the matches. God damn, I hate the matches. I hate the ones with Big Show even more. My God. Woof. Woof. That Fatal 4-Way, though, for at Armageddon was very good. That was probably the best match in the title run outside of the matches with Eddie. My bro, I almost quit wrestling. 2012 was a disaster. You had JBL winning. I mean, not JBL. I'm sorry. Big Show was the champion for a long time, back and forth. And when he beat Mark Henry, I wanted to throw everything out. I just wanted to just repaint my whole fucking house. But then it wasn't even just that. It wasn't just Big. It was Sheamus too. I was so sick of Sheamus. I didn't know what to do. I was sick as fuck of Sheamus. That's when my hatred of Big Show really kicked in. Is 2012, 2011. He was so pointless. This fool got a gigantic spinning plate on a chain, like a literal, like a login chain. I haven't seen WrestleMania 23 in a long time. I was in the building. I don't remember getting any money. I don't remember getting any money back. Wait 2 seconds. 10. My time is now. You ain't see me. It's time is now. I'm shining now. Surprising Sheamus and Big Show? No. I refuse. I would rather walk over hot coals than watch Sheamus versus Big Show from 2012 at any point in time in life. And I felt like that in 2012. Yeah, I was at WrestleMania 23. I don't remember there having been real money there. But then again, my memory is shoddy as hell. I remember being outside more than I remember being inside. I remember the parking lot being in the line and everything. That was a bigger deal. And actually, it was more fun then than it was when I went to SummerSlam a year or two ago. What year was that? Summer 2023? It's Big Swole John, too. See, his footwork is nuts. Look at this shit. I don't think he knows where to put his feet. Oh, yeah, they were terrible. I had nosebleeds. I think I had standing room only tickets, too, because that's back in the day where there was $25 tickets. I think I got in the building barely because I got paid just at the event was already sold out when I bought my tickets. Let's put it like that. And I went to the Ticketmaster the week of the show and just took whatever they had. So I was way up in. I got a ticket. I got in the building, but I was far, far, far away from the ring. I had really shitty seats. I didn't know the importance of having good seats at the time. I still don't really know the importance of having good. I think if you're going to be in the building, that's good enough. You think they're going to debut a new entrance song? I don't think so. I'm wondering what the entrance is going to be, like for the heel Cena. That became the recipe for Cena. He would just get beat up, he'd hit his moves, and then he win. That's the Hogan recipe. Hogan would go in there, he'd do a little bit, he shine up a little bit, throw you over the top rope, bump you with a clothesline or something like that to the floor, pose, pose, pose to every corner. Then they cheat, they get a cut off, and then Hogan would spend 5 or 6 minutes selling. He occasionally would fire up, but he spent most of the time selling. And then he Hulk up after you hit your finish, Hulk up, hit all of his moves, and win the fucking match. And it worked every goddamn time. And they did the same damn thing with Cena. And it worked again. Because there's a reason why those things work. And it needs to work for somebody else too. He said, guess how they managed to cram 80,000? Yeah, there was not 80,000 seats in that building, but there was certainly probably 80,000 people. I remember it took forever to get in there. And I wasn't the only one having the standing room only tickets. There were other people who had standing room tickets. Oh, what's this? It's a bunch of standing room only tickets. Yeah, they had there was quite a few people who had standing room only tickets. I didn't know how to buy tickets, bro. That shit was at the time. I didn't think I was gonna make the show because usually I worked every goddamn day. I was so damn tired. I didn't even have time to get to Ticketmaster to get the damn tickets. And then one day, I forgot what happened, but I just happened to be near a Ticketmaster when I had just gotten paid. And I was like, oh, you can see this WrestleMania ticket? They're like, yeah, that's like a $25 ticket or whatever. And I was like, what? I'm in. And then since I didn't have to work on Sundays, I was able to go. And I was working 6 days a week, 12-hour days. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to live my life at all. But I wanted to go to that WrestleMania so damn bad, but I just couldn't afford it. And I didn't have the time. Eventually, I did find how to buy the tickets or whatever. You think there'd be half Thugonomics, half time is now, like Brood Edge from SummerSlam? I guess, they could do something like, they could do like a history of Cena where they run through all of his little histories and all that kind of stuff, his legacy. Maybe go through all the championships that he went through. I can't believe Nick Patrick is the referee. I didn't even notice he was the referee for this match. No comment. No give a fuck. I can't believe that guy still has a job. I think Cena got pretty good in around 07. He wasn't as bad as he was in 04 and 05. I mean, Cena was still pretty rough at this point in time. And the fans wasn't sure what to make of him. Oh shit, I didn't put this on the stage. Yeah, the crowd wasn't sure what to make of him around this time because he's doing something that's a little bit different, but they kind of going with it. There was a tournament to get here. To think Cena would get booed out of the building at WrestleMania 22, yeah, against Triple H, no less. The whole point of picking Triple H was so that Cena wouldn't get booed. I'm not surprised though. The internet turned against him, and Chicago's a smart city. Smart cities hate everybody for no reason, just irrational hatred. Oh man, I'm tired of shit. I should have took a nap. Oh Jesus! Stop watching Collision. I'm gonna watch the TNA show tomorrow. I just forgot all about that show. I'm gonna watch it in the morning. I want to watch Bloodsport too. I think that was also tonight. I want to see that show too. I was thinking about going grocery shopping tomorrow, but shit, I might just watch Bloodsport and TNA tomorrow. Oh, damn, I got to review the TNA show too because it's a pay per view. Sheesh. I don't think I'm gonna be able to record the Tony Atlas thing. You know what? I'm not gonna review SmackDown. I'm just gonna add SmackDown to WrestleMania. But I'm gonna do the TNA show, and I'm gonna try to do the Tony Atlas review at the same time, if I remember to do it. You said you were still unsure whether he was a legit main eventer. I figured main event of WrestleMania, he winning the title. I pretty much figured that Vince was all in on him. I mean, there was no doubt. And they gave him the belt at WrestleMania, not at a B show. They built him up over a long period of time. I think that the one thing is who was going to be the A star, whether him or Batista, and they were pretty sure it was going to be Batista, which is why he's closing the show, and also why he was working on Raw. And then once it became clear that Cena was going to be the A star, they moved Cena to Raw and moved Batista to SmackDown. It wasn't too long, but it was decisive. Big match, John. We believe Cena versus Angle or Booker and Attorney at No Way Out to become No More Contender. I forgot all about that. Is that his brother? Man, he just fell all into the crowd. They get sued like a motherfucker. He did that today. All those Japanese fans. Yeah, they did. They definitely put more emphasis on Batista's story, which is why I think they probably believed that Batista was going to be a bigger star, and he was a little, he's a little bit older than Cena, probably a lot bit older than Cena, and also Triple H ego. But it's the good old days. He hit one finish and ended the match, and then he bit the title. after Bradshaw kissed it. So they're blood brothers, saliva brothers, Eskimo twins. Some would say. They just wanted to get the fucking belt off of JBL. The crowd reaction is not as strong as it would become, but people were glad Bradshaw lost. Well, the internet always has their favorites, and Christian was the favorite of the internet guys. They put the entire WrestleMania 1 cast in the Hall of Fame 20 years later. That's pretty fun. No, they didn't put Orndorff in there, did they? Oh, they did put him in there. Great. Yeah, they put the entire WrestleMania 1 cast in there, and 20 years later. That's amazing. Great timing by Vince. Good booking. Who were the biggest internet darlings back in the mid 2000s? Jay Briscoe, random Japanese guys, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christian in WWF. Jericho was another one, favorite of the indie wrestling guys. But I think Jay Briscoe is probably number one. AJ Styles is probably in their top, but of course, of American guys, clearly. But I was hearing almost way too much about Jay Briscoe being the Ring of Honor World Champion around that time. Like, I think he was doing the 60 minutes and all that bullshit. I'm like, come on, nobody wants to care about that. Oh, he was doing a move that puts the pedigree to shame. Is ended up being the J Driller. I didn't get it. Didn't really care. I got a feeling that the Batista push was supposed to be Orton's, but they gave it to Batista instead, and it was the right decision because Batista was not a fuck up like Orton was. Yeah, CM Punk was too. Nigel McGuinness, Bryan Danielson. You can just go on and on with the guys. That the internet. John Cena looks terrible in that suit, and it looks too big. This dude literally went into the Hall of Fame wearing a bandana. Hogan is a tacky human being. Anything to cover up that bald spot. Oh, they absolutely were. Hey, it's Mean Gene Okerlund. Wait a second. Is Nikolai Volkov dead? I think he is dead, right? I think almost this entire class except Hogan is dead. Because Mean Gene is no longer with us. Iron Sheik passed away recently, like last year or 2 years ago. Mr. Wonderful died, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. Everybody loves the Iron Sheik, bro. You said Brock Lesnar was still in WWE. Yeah, he probably would have main evented all these shits. He probably would have had to put what's the name over himself, John Cena. I don't think Bradshaw ever would have been world champion if Brock didn't leave. You see zero WCW footage for Paul Orndorff. It's all him power driving Hogan and shit. That Jackie Gator, her titties are huge. Jesus Christ, her titties are phenomenal. Jack Evans, yes. I don't think Austin. I think Austin Aries might have been a little too young. But Jack Evans, yeah, I remember hearing a lot about him. Damn, Marina was around this time. Everybody's suit's too big. Why can't nobody dress at this point in time? Nobody's got a tailor. Well, they're wrestlers, bro. They not. They probably. And Bob Orton was just taking bumps earlier, so he probably went out there. This Hall of Fame class is nuts. They got 3 headliners in this joint. Who is this woman? Jimmy Hart not aging that much. He's old as shit now. He's not aging that hard. Jesus Christ. Jackie titties was outside. It was amazing. I love that they had the women as the valets for the guys. They'll never do nothing like that today. They gave Bob Orton's thing to Terry Funk in 2K24. Oh, that's amazing. He was also just covered in beer about an hour ago. Now he out there in a pink shirt. He's dry somehow. Stacy Keibler got Hogan duty. Oh, Jesus. Look at Hogan trying to be humble. My Lord have mercy. He was just out there flexing for 15 minutes earlier. He said the year Austin got inducted was the last year the Divas ushered the inductees to the stage. They need to go back to doing that. Had the NXT talent do it. They probably think it's demeaning or something stupid like that now. Gotta respect Mr. Wonderful not wearing a tie. And Jimmy Hart comes out in full gimmick. And Hogan, I think he's wearing a t-shirt under. Vince wasn't forcing everybody to dress up this year. I think that would change. It's main event time, fellas and ladies. Oh boy. I gotta sit through a Triple H match. What am I gonna do, Lord? I seen that Batista says he missed wrestling, but he don't want to ruin his perfect ending. That's why he won't come back. What a arrogant ass. How about you lost 100 pounds of muscle, Dave? How about you're 70 some odd years old, Dave? He took a shitty bump on that RKO too, by the way. I think that, see, the crazy thing is there was no Hall of Fame back then, so they probably weren't even thinking about it. When they relaunched the Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure everybody thought they was going to get in at that point. It just became a matter of time because after they put in Andre, there was no Hall of Fame for a while, and then out of nowhere, the Hall of Fame is back, and they're putting out a bunch of people in. And I'm glad they made it a part of WrestleMania weekend. And Triple H actually did another good move. He put the Slammies as part of WrestleMania weekend, which it was during the New Generation era, which is smart. You know, I think the Slammies are going to be the week of, the night of the second night of WrestleMania. It's going to be Slammies. I thought he got rid of the Slammies totally, but he keeping them. He just moved them to WrestleMania week, which is smart. It's another fucking event that they can force fans to pay for. Hall of Fame, Slammies, and shit. And I actually prefer it as its own event rather than it being a special episode of Raw or something like that. It being a WrestleMania event is pretty cool. Raw on Spike was the shit. I hate Raw on Spike. I probably couldn't tell you. I don't think I watched an entire episode of Raw on Spike since it aired. Like legit. I've probably seen clips here and there of the show. Raw on USA is where it's at. Remember back in January '05 when they had Batista versus Benoit on Raw, Batista was still a heel and got a huge pop. He powered out of the crossface. I was like, they strapping the rocket to him. Yeah, when he beat Rhino in like 32 seconds or some shit on TV. I remember hearing about it, and then I saw it. I was like, it's over. He getting the belt. Not that I thought that Rhino was some big deal. It's just that once you got a guy crushing people like that casually, it's on. He getting the belt, and it was it was that simple. Once he was like putting his smash on people, I was like, yeah, that's it. Elimination Chamber too. When I eventually saw that, and I didn't see that until after I saw WrestleMania, but it made perfect sense once I saw Elimination Chamber. Yeah, generation era, they were doing the same as doing WrestleMania week, and they just moved it back to WrestleMania week, which is smart because again, like I said, they can milk more money out of some dumbass fans. I shouldn't say that because the Slammies are fun. I don't know if Slammy's gonna make TV. Like, are they gonna be on YouTube or Peacock? Like, what are they doing with the Slammies? How is it airing? I'm not a big Motorhead guy, so let me just get off my screen. Oh, you came from under the stage. Oh, how nice. Spewing water all over the place. Great. Does he not know where to go? Is he lost? Oh, okay. The Slammies were on YouTube last year. Okay, not bad. I like the Slammies because people used to make it a gimmick. Like Owen Hart's gimmick was that he won Slammies. That was fun. They need to find somebody they could do that with. The Raw they build up the turn on Triple H for that whole show was done amazingly. Oh, that was probably tough shit, huh? I saw of course I saw the scene when he eventually turned on him, but I missed. Told you I didn't watch Raw on Spike, but I just guessed that it would be they built the entire show around it because he won the Royal Rumble and he had to make a decision. Oh, Chelsea Green and the Slammies. I think that was like last year, wasn't it? It didn't go anywhere because Owen Hart was still had them fucking Slammies like a year or two later. Then with CM Punk's 3 Day Society, he brought his Slammy with him to the ring for entrances for 3-4 months after winning it. This is the premature version of Batista's theme. He would get his main event theme shortly after this. But yeah, the fans are definitely more into Batista than they were into John Cena at this point in time. But that rapid change, it would come shortly thereafter this. Batista's such a fucking Vince guy, man. I'm pretty sure they can mention Owen. They just can't show any footage. Did he even bother introducing Triple H? Triple H was like, I mean, Batista was like 35 years old at this point in time and was already a granddaddy. Grandpa Dave. That dude's fucking big. That's a big guy. Body guy. Look at Flair. My goodness. You could tell that this is all proto because they didn't even introduce Triple H. They didn't bother. And or Flair. They introduce everybody now. I do like the big main event entrances, introductions that they do today. That's another creative thing that I enjoy, is they make sure that everybody who's in a serious match gets a serious entrance. You know, and they get a serious introduction too. This is back when they was haphazardly doing things. Some guys got an introduction, some didn't. Some got pyro, some didn't. Like, what the fuck is the point? Yeah, you guys were enjoying yourselves over on SmackDown, huh? I was not watching this shit at all. I really didn't know who these people were. Then I watched Raw the next night, and I was like, okay, this Randy Orton kid almost beat Undertaker. You know, this Batista guy he wasn't Triple H, so I was able to give him a chance. So I don't remember anything else from that show except the opening part where they showed the highlights of WrestleMania. And I was like, I got to see this show. And then I watched Raw and I watched SmackDown and I was back in. But of course, this is like way after JBL chased illegal immigrants. And I was like, hey, I was down for that too. But I wasn't watching religiously after that. But that's when I actually started paying more attention to wrestling. Because I definitely had an attitude about Bradshaw being the world champion. Eddie Guerrero being world champion. I was like, who the hell are these mid-carders? Why are the mid-card guys world title champions? It took a while for me to actually watch them and learn what the hell is going on here. I didn't bring a single bottle of water and now my throat dry. I shouldn't drink water before bed anyway. I'd be getting a piss. Look at this collar. Look at the intensity of this collar and elbow tie up, brother. You talking about in Smackdown 04? Oh, yeah. Heyman got fired, didn't he? Yeah, Heyman was on some shit. I think Vince was poking it. Yeah, I think around, what was that, 04, 05, when Kurt Angle became a stalker and a rapist? I don't understand where that came from. That creative vision is nuts. All right? You got an Olympic gold medalist, and you're going to turn him into a rapist and a stalker who has a thing for black chicks. Absolute insanity. The drugs, you can't tell me Vince didn't do drugs. Some of the stuff that was going through his mind and went on his television, he obviously was on drugs. He'll probably never know until his autopsy becomes public. It'll probably be like 10 years after he dies. And since he's going to live forever, we'll probably never see it. I wonder if Stephanie and Linda and all them going to let Chris Nowitzki get Vince McMahon's brain to see if he got CTE. So I almost guarantee he do got it. Heyman said he was fired for basically he was arguing with Stephanie a lot. And he was eavesdropping on the Raw writing team or some nonsense he was doing. He was doing a bunch of shit he had no business doing. Probably gassing talent up. Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. You said didn't. Sorry. You said didn't Kurt Angle date a black female wrestler called Raka Khan? I don't know. And I think that was in TNA. Cause I don't. Was she in WWE? I think she was. I think she was in WWE for a little bit. Absolutely. The fans got on Cena's side for a little bit. And then they started to hate him for no reason. Completely irrationally, by the way. Heyman's a master manipulator. Master manipulator. He knows how to get what he wants out of these things. Kurt has a promo about bestiality sex with Charmel, and I was like, this is off the rails. I don't think anybody really understood how psychotic that was. And in hindsight, it's hilarious, but it's actually very, very fucking strange. And then he locked himself in a room with Booker T's wife. It was insane, man. It was insane. Implying that Kurt Angle was a raper of black women, which is psychotic. Yeah, Raka Khan is nuts. She accused a bunch of people of doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Flair old as shit at this point in time. Haberdashery. Yeah, because everybody in that joint sweating. It's L.A. Wait. They really did the shit. What year was that? Uh, no, it was Charmel. He was chasing Charmel around, trying to have sex with Booker T's wife. I think that was '04. I know he sent Kurt Angle crazy again. And he was anti-American. That was this year, and he teamed up with Davari, and he was talking about how much he hates the troops and he hopes the Afghanis win. It was very Sergeant Slaughterish. It was insane, and people started continuing to cheer Kurt Angle for being nuts. Vince tried everything, man. It just did not work. People like Kurt Angle, bro.
Thanks to that lower back thing, man. By the game.
I don't even know why Kurt Angle just went from your Olympic hero to raging, massive dickhead. But it happened, and it was fast, and it was great because he was still doing comedy. But the bestiality sex, the sexy Kurt, he was doing his character had so much range, and he was still a dork underneath all of that stuff. He was still like a dork. There was still an innocence there to the Kurt Angle character, no matter how vicious that he wanted to be. There was still a yippee ki yay in Kurt Angle, a light. Oh, I don't know. Well, she was in a full grown adult woman. Yeah. he had Kurt Angle doing anti-American gimmick. It was hilarious, bro. And he was still wearing the colors and everything. That shit was dumb. That's when they was trying to get him to use him to get Cena over, and they teamed him up with Davari. I remember watching that thinking this is absolutely absurd. And of course it didn't work. But they tried it. I guess they figured it worked for Sergeant Slaughter. Kurt claims he doesn't know how that rumor started. He claims that it was just a rib that got taken too far by Vince, plus he's married to a Latina. Well, he wasn't too far off. You like black chicks, don't you? That was a shitty spine buster. It was okay though. It wasn't as smooth as it should be. Big bulky fools. My leg is falling asleep. I'm gonna go watch that anti-American Kurt Angle skit as soon as I get done with this. That might be the last thing I do for the night. Because that shit made me laugh so hard when I was younger, man. I haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah, he was. They were doing the gold medal challenges, right? He was challenging people for the gold medal. That was fun. They didn't know what the hell to do with Kurt Angle at that point. Vince is psychotic, man. I'm telling you, he was on drugs. It's gonna come out one day what drugs he was on. Ooh. I think in hindsight, they probably should have separated the main events a little bit. Maybe had JBL and Cena go on second or third, and then had this match as the main event, but have like another match. Maybe I can't remember, like maybe Undertaker and Orton or something right before this. I haven't seen Karen. Well, I have seen Karen on TV. She was on TV, but I don't remember like what she looked like. I know she had like an older lady, but she's not like old. Aki Bono versus Big Show should be long. It should be cut. It should be cut. It should be the tape should be burned. The tape should be fed to vultures. It should become food for orchids, smelted and buried alive. Like stealing from Ray Stevens. Ooh. Oh, he's going overboard. He's about to use this goddamn. How's he not counted out? He's been outside the ring for a long time now, my guy. Nowadays, they would have took a monkey flip or something like that off this shit. Triple H is blading. Cameraman was smart enough not to show it. But you could tell he was blading because his hand was near his head too much. And you know what? This is the only match that had intentional blood in it. You remember the crowd not being up for Batista versus Triple H, but really Triple H just works so fucking slow. He's lava in the ring. Batista always had lead in his feet. Yeah, this match is super slow. That's because Triple H is so fucking big. He's too jacked. He had the EC3 problem. I didn't hate this match. I just wish that it wasn't after the JBL Cena match, which is very similar in a sense. That JBL couldn't really work, It feels like 4 brawlers back to back probably wasn't a good idea. I agree. Fantastic. Definitely a must-see match. Look at Flair. Flair is just another guy out there at this point. They're not making a big deal about him out there either. He's a jack to the fucking gills, my God. He was like, he was like 35 or something like this at this point. Batista started wrestling late, so he was like in his early to mid 30s at this point. And he's basically still a rookie. So you got Bradshaw, who was never that great, in the ring with a green John Cena. And then you got Triple H, who's supposed to be a ring general, but he works like he's covered in molasses. And he's working with a green Batista. And they put these matches back to back. That's the only downslide in the fucking sumo thing. I didn't even hate the Divas match. Just these matches being back to back is probably a bit much for me. Ooh, shit. They probably should have put the Piper's Pit or something in between. But in terms of pure wrestling, they already got what they were looking for out of that triple HBK and Kurt Angle thing. Oh yeah, the rape poetry. That was very bad. Very bad. Heidenreich was wrestle crap. He was trash. Him and Snitsky. That's why I don't like that era. Heidenreich and Snitsky and Vladimir Kozlov and Ezekiel Jackson. Pure wrestle crap. All of them. Nathan Jones. Yeah, he debuted in 03, I think. As Deacon Batista. In the ring with, oh shit, D-Line. He's got a chair. You see how the ref thwarted him and didn't just let him do it? Hey, the referee actually did something. Didn't just allow a guy to get hit with a chair in front of him. That spine buster wasn't very good either, but Flair can't get no heat, no lift under his legs. He was 36 in this match. Jesus H. This guy's 40. The Damian Priest of his era, except he was actually cool. They got him now because this is a good near fall. Notice he didn't hook the leg. Would have won if he'd have hooked the leg. Ooh-wee. He said 2000, 2001, Triple H would have made this match more bearable. Triple H off his cycle wasn't cutting. I'm telling you, Triple H 03, 04, 05, he was tough to sit through, bro. That Reign of Terror was a piece of work. But at least we got that Hell in a Cell match out of it. But I did think this match was okay. It was just a little slow. And I did like the Backlash match too. So I think the trilogy was solid. But the Hell in a Cell match is next level. I really like that. As opposed to a couple of years before when he was having Hell in a Cell matches with Triple H and Nash, and they were terrible. But this is a great spot. This is legitimately an awesome spot right here. And they never let anybody else do this. He never let anybody else do that to Triple H. Yeah. And Damian Priest with more charisma. Yeah, he got a good gig going. It's a WrestleMania gig right there, brother. That separating the hands on the pedigree spot is nuts. People definitely would have went crazier for it today than they did back then. Woo! That pause on the power bomb, Jesus. Look at the reaction when he won versus the reaction when Cena won. That was a great finishing sequence, though. Batista breaks the pedigree with sheer power, back body drop, a stunned, weakened Triple H, powerbomb to fucking hell, and pinned. Great job. Triple H didn't know what his fucking job was, apparently. But he did it here. The job was to make Dave. He did it. Batista's fucking cool, bro. He blown up. He beat. Yeah, that was great. They never let anybody else do that, though. Break out of the pedigree. It's been 20 years, and I don't think anybody else has done that spot. The other great spot that they did was in the Hell in a Cell match, where Triple H grabs a sledgehammer, and he looks like he's going to hit Batista with the sledgehammer, and as he's about to come down with it, he gets powerbombed. That's a great fucking visual. Underappreciated spot. They unloaded all the pyro budgets on Batista. Batista should have won his first World Heavyweight Champion. Nah, I think they did it right by saving it for WrestleMania. They saved it for the right show. All right, y'all. I got to use the bathroom. I'm thirsty. I love the show. I love WrestleMania 21. Even though I think the last two matches are certainly not the strongest matches, they're very pedestrian. But I love this show for the opener, the Money in the Bank, Angle, and HBK, Orton, and Undertaker. Just a phenomenal card. But of course the main events were the weakest parts, and there was of course a little bit of variety could have helped too. Like you could have had another women's match or a tag team match could have really helped. And that sumo thing was trash, and I don't understand the point of that. John Cena should have won the Royal Rumble. Well, Vince was dead. Vince was dead set on it being. I think he probably got brothered into Batista by Triple H politicking, but so he can get the main event. But it ended up working out for the best for Cena. He didn't win the Royal Rumble, but he ended up getting the bigger push of the two. So I guess it all worked out in the end. He said there's a variation of that spot in the cutscene of the game, Batista story, Smackdown vs. Raw 06. Something with Triple H and the Slams on top of Cell. Can't remember it exactly. But that Hell in a Cell match is nuts. I love it. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Appreciate everybody that's watching on replay. Thank you guys for your time. Guys, have a great WrestleMania weekend, and I'll talk to you later.